All right, so I've never seen this person's content before, but I've seen criticism of it. This is IBZ. Apparently, he does a lot of interesting narratives. I think I'm more against what he talks about, but someone recommended like, oh, I need to check out the new one. And I think it is good to check out something that you don't totally agree with. Maybe I'm getting something shown in the bad light, right? Maybe the thing I'm watching is just nitpicking only certain aspects. And I know that happens. Like sometimes someone will make a really long video and then people will consolidate it and only point out like the bad clips that they don't enjoy. So I'm gonna check out IBZ's video, Indian Fatigue 2. Never saw the first one, but this is the second one.
Disclaimer, this video is not intended to harass, bully, or incite violence towards any group of people. This is simply just discussing opinions and beliefs. Another disclaimer, finish your food before you watch this video because there is some pretty gross stuff in this video.
When did the Indian rhetoric get so insanely horrible on the internet?
I am Indian citizen. So? You kidding me? From Jalandhar.
Like, I'm not even exaggerating. Like, I've never seen this much Indian hate in my...
I'm not gonna lie. I've spent too much time watching like, well, not really. I don't watch TikToks. I don't watch a lot of that kind of nonsense. But normally I watch like reactionary channels or things like that, which react to stuff like this. It's the septum ring. Anytime I see that, I always have one kind of inkling and thoughts pop into my head. You know, the septum theory. Like, well, what the heck?
You have 500,000 pounds in your account, in your Coinbase account. So all we need is your card number to be able to give you that money, okay?
Now it's like they're disgusting, they're animals, they're not even human beings. Like, is the fact that like, where is this coming from? Is this rhetoric genuinely just rooted in deep insecurity?
Why are you pulling over?
Dude, pull over!
Let us out! Crazy!
Why?
No!
Like, I just don't understand where it got lost in translation. Like, every single Indian person you know has a doctor on speed dial.
This Indian political party drinks cow urine.
You know, there is some truth to what...
Wait, has a doctor on speed? I wish I had a doctor on speed dial. Well, I do. I have my wife. She's literally right in the other room. She used to be in the office with me, but ever since I moved my office, now she's in the other room. So I have a doctor on call. I just have to get up and she's probably rolling her eyes at me right now. But yeah, I mean, again, drinking cow urine, drinking urine in general, urine in general, it has medical properties that actually can be used for helping ailments. We've known this. It has ammonia in it. It can be used to clean as well. Surprisingly. So it's funny how people have seemed to regress because now we get our ammonia through people just mixing in the lab instead of, oh, pee on a wound or whatever it used to be back in the day. I mean, sure, does it seem very unhygienic? Absolutely. I'd rather recommend someone go get the lab created chemicals for like cleaning and things like that than going around peeing on a wall because there's well, if you eat healthy and drink healthy, like I don't think this would suffice, then you probably have a cleaner bit of bowels. But I would never recommend someone actually intake that stuff because that's why we have chemists, which again, I could just call my wife for that kind of information. That's why we have this modern day technology, because that is stuff that used to be done back in the day. It's a kind of same thing with like, as time progresses, take on the things that work for now, the beneficial replacements for things that used to be done. So drinking urine or having someone pee on your wound. Yeah, we don't need that now when you could just get some kind of antiseptic over the counter at a drugstore. You don't need all this extra, all these extra, you don't need someone to whip something out. Whether you get stung by a stingray, you don't need someone to whip something out and pee on you.
She was saying, I'm sure there is a handful of Indian engineers and doctors, but unfortunately, these are not the Indians that we are talking about. We're talking about the poorly assimilated Indian villagers that bring their backwards customs to the United States. This is a very specific type of Indian, but unfortunately, due to how much is in their country, that very specific type of Indian is a lot of people. It's a common cope that Indians have that everybody else is jealous of them because they make on average in the United States $120,000 a year.
Indians are in a league of their own, averaging $120,000 a year per household.
While there might be some people that are jealous to this fact, my beef with Indians is completely different. And there's a theory as to why this number might be so high, and it's due to the fact that there's not that many Indians in America, and many of them are on an H-1B visa, which requires you to have a secure job offer, usually from a high-paying company. Either way, though, I'll be honest, a win is a win. That is a W for Indians. But this W comes at a cost. We in America are getting like the best, top-of-the-top educated Indians, which I promise you these guys don't do these backwards traditions that the other Indian cultures do. Like, do you think this guy right here is making $120,000 a year? And since the top of the top educated Indians are leaving India, this makes it harder for India to develop as a country. The only problem with this is that these H-1B visa holders eventually get citizenship and then try to...
No, well, again, this argument is flawed that India is benefiting from the H-1B visas because all the money which is why the U.S. national debt is so incredibly high, because we don't... America doesn't make any money. It doesn't make any money, and now that it's one of the most expensive nations to live in. One of the most expensive nations to actually be. And I guess you get, yeah, I don't know. Whatever, there's positives and negatives everywhere. But you also have a bunch of foreigners coming in. Like, I think H-1B needs to be completely revitalized. We need to completely overhaul the H-1B process entirely, because it's just too messed up right now. It's too messed up. And people, again, if there is a system in place, people will always find a way to take advantage of it. And it doesn't matter where you're from. Everyone takes advantage of systems. Just how people take advantage of like veterans welfare, like those who served in the military, who are now claiming disabilities that they aren't approved for, and it just makes it just ruins the system for everyone. It ruins it for everyone, because everyone will always look at those who misuse the system and don't look at those who are struggling to get through it. That's the whole argument with like illegal immigrants. Nobody looks at those who are struggling hard to become a nationalized visa holder or a citizen of the U.S. Everyone's just looking at the federal officers going in and rounding up people who broke the law to be here. But that's not the real discussion. Everyone's just always worried about it's always about how you can make the biggest stink. It's always about how you can make the biggest stink. And again, like, our visas definitely need an overhaul. Definitely need an overhaul, because I've been waiting years for the visa process I started years ago to finally get approved. Everything's just incredibly insane, but you're always going to have people that misuse it. Are there a crap ton of doctors from India in the U.S.? Absolutely. Engineers? Absolutely. Do companies prefer to hire outside? Absolutely, because they're just going to work harder for it, because they want to be here and they want to earn this income that, for the most part, since India is so family oriented, they can send the cash back and get their family a massive house back in India, which they could barely get here. Like, my brother has a friend that owns, I think, a chain of gas stations now. He just owned one in the beginning, but owns like a few gas stations back in India. Because when I was there for the wedding, he was offering up his house to my brother. It was like, oh, go here, stay here. It's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful place. And he has like this giant house, all because he decided to work in the United States, lives in like a closet right off the side of the gas station. And he makes a ton of money to go back home for the family to live happily, live comfortably. And that's just how it works. And there are always going to be people who take advantage of the system as well. There are companies probably who, like, again, like, I think Elon Musk's companies have primarily like 80 to 90% H-1B visas. Why? It's just cheaper labor, harder labor. they work harder for it, and they don't cost as much.
bring their family over. Their family then ends up like Frisco, Texas.
Motherland India or Texas, USA?
No, obviously motherland India.
Obviously.
Obviously motherland India. My motherland is India. I'm born and brought there.
Another issue is that these companies that are sponsoring the Indians force these Indians to work outrageous hours or they'll stop sponsoring them, and they constantly have this threat over their head.
Well, they threaten them with H-1B visas and they hold that over their head because if they don't work a certain amount of hours, they won't sponsor them. And they can just work them to the bones.
Anyways, my Indian fatigue video did extremely well, and well, some people are not happy about this, primarily in...
It's funny. He says it did it incredibly well. I wonder what the dislike ratio is on his video. Like, there are always those people that have the I don't have it on mine where you can see the like to dislike ratio. I don't have it installed. But he's the creator of that video. He would be able to show what the ratio actually is. I have a feeling that it's actually very negative. His like to dislike ratio is very skewed towards the dislike. I think a lot of people thumb down on it. And so far, he's been kind of like wishy-washy. I think he wants to be more like, there are problems. Yeah, there are problems everywhere. There are absolutely problems everywhere. There are people who go to a place, create a ruckus, just like the US has those IRL streamers who go around being a nuisance. Some people are just inherently a nuisance, and I think it's primarily to do with the superiority complex. The superiority complex that a lot of people seem to have.
And 2 Indian YouTubers had made videos about it. I have to give a quick shout out to my friend Achito for getting caught in the crossfire because one of the Indians had reacted to his video reacting to me, reacting to these Indians. And the other Indian YouTuber reacted to the other Indian YouTuber reacting to Achito.
Yeah, it was funny. It was just a reaction of reaction. Like I was watching Sandman's, which was a reaction of reaction. I was just like, okay, sure, why not? I'll have fun with it.
Reacting to me, reacting to Indians. They say some pretty hefty lies and they make some pretty big false equivalencies, which are honestly kind of comedic and almost rage bait like. But I don't really care if I'm getting rage baited. It just gives me more opportunities to talk about this topic. Anyways, we'll just get right into it.
The Western society has found a new fetish these days, like being a cuck or being a furry or being an LGBT activist.
This is kind of unrelated, but I kept this in for a small reason we'll get into in the future. So he's saying that LGBTQ culture is prominent in Western societies. Just keep that in mind.
Foreigners cherry picking some incidents from India and labeling it as if whole country of India does it. For example, this cow dung festival, which is celebrated in only one small village in India.
I don't know if this guy's lying or just doesn't know his own culture, but there's not one cow poop festival. There's at least, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 2 out of the 6 uses the cow poop for bonfires, so I'm not really...
Yeah, okay, there's a difference. There is a difference between a few of these. Like here, other festivals use cow dung for decorations or building. I mean, heck, isn't there an entire oven that's built out of cow dung? Isn't there like an entire oven that's built out of cow dung for like one particular dish? Like that's the thing. There are certain things. It's just like, that's just how places are. And you can't just be upset. The whole thing, like, again, he's being, I can understand why people are so pissed off at him. The real argument is the fact that the entirety of India is being painted in one way. In one way. Cow dung is insanely flammable. Oh my gosh. And start using it for warfare at that point. But he's painting it. It's like, oh, you know what? They were talking about this one festival. Let me show all these other places that have somewhat. This thing is ridiculous. The main issue, people's main criticism, like I was watching Sandman's and like people's main issue is the fact that India has been painted with this brush because of the video. That is the real criticism. That is the real criticism. It has nothing to do with the fact that that festival happens. Like, I would love to go participate in that. I never will be allowed to because my wife says no. But I think that would just be a cultural experience for, guess what? That small little location. Because where else would you go to experience something like that? I don't know. I don't know. There's one little town for sure, and then there are other things that happen as well. Just like how urine is utilized and was utilized for centuries as a medicinal herb. Well, I don't know if it was cow or goat or like, hey, most people didn't use human urine, but they use cow or goat or like, because it does have medicinal herbs. It's used medicinally. And if their diet is far cleaner than people, which people eat a variety of things, a goat, primarily just greens. Cow, primarily greens. So you could use that urine far more easily than really anything else. Than really my own. I would never drink my own urine. It's like, who would? Who would? It's crazy. It's absolutely disgusting. But there are people that do. I mean, heck, TikTok is littered with people that experiment with that because it's clean. It's healthy to do so. It's very healthy. Oh my gosh. Dried cow dung is used for cooking. It is called uppal. Is that true? Because I thought it was. I mean, apparently it's very flammable, but again, I thought you built like an oven out of it or something. I don't know. I don't know, but I thought it was something. But that's the thing. It's just like this person is obviously, and this is one thing I don't like. When people... There's one streamer, I know for a fact he does it all the time, where they purposefully misuse the information. Like I've called out Sandman for literally doing the exact same thing he calls other people out for. And everyone falls victim to it because you get so passionate about something that you end up kind of contradicting yourself because you're just angry. You're just angry. And the problem is this guy is just... He's mishearing the entire argument. The entire argument. Everyone's video that I have seen criticizing like the original Indian fatigue video was about the fact that it was all one location in India. It was one location in India that made it seem like all of India was this... Oh, you know this very famous festival? This is what they do. Diwali is this. And most people don't know any better. Most people don't care enough to learn. Most people don't care enough to learn.
And I'll be fair, that's not that bad. 2 of the festivals involve throwing cow poop at each other, and the other 2 festivals involve building sacred structures out of cow poop.
Fatigue video which has more than 1 million views. I'll give you some intel on the creator of this Indian fatigue video. This guy is an American but is from Middle Eastern descent and he's a Muslim. Every guy's opinions and biases and way of thinking is shaped by their environment, their schooling and their religion as well.
I agree. You guys throw cow shit at each other and you guys think it's a great idea because of your upbringing. If my relation...
You can tell. Yeah, like he's literally using Sandman. You know what? He should have used my video. I'm gonna have to tag him in this. He should use my video, because for Sandman's he did a 30-minute video critiquing the original. I went on for like an hour and 30 minutes talking. I think probably longer than the original Indian fatigue video. And I still think I had the most fun with that reaction. I just had so much fun with that one. Still one of my best so far. But the fact that he's getting triggered because he's getting called out for his biases. So he's doubling down. And that's the problem. Instead of being like, oh, crap. You know what? I kind of messed up in what I was saying. Here, let me clarify. No, he's doubling down, tripling down. He's just going to keep doing it because, well, he's getting money for it. He's absolutely getting money for it. And that's what I said. All of this is just a money racket at this point. All the hate towards India is all for money. Is all for money. He doesn't care about anything but getting his bag. Getting his dough. That's all he wants. That is all he wants. I mean, I completely forgot that he's supposed to be an American, but Muslim. I have no clue. I don't care. I don't think where someone comes from actually matters. I think what they hold, people's actions and how they portray themselves speaks more than what they actually what is the saying? There's like a trust someone by their actions, but not by what they say, because people will always say one thing but do something else. Like, who knows? The creator of this video probably isn't hateful person at all. He probably just wants money. Just wants money. So, but he's creating the video, so that's an action. That again is an action. It's not just what he's saying, he's creating it. He's putting it out there. So you can judge him by the fact that he's actually putting it out there. But yeah, he's obviously getting triggered at the fact that Sandman's calling him out. So he's like, oh, you're just all dung throwers. Especially when Sandman pointed out that one festival in, I don't know where it was, like North Carolina or something, where they lick their finger after throwing poop. They would lick their finger after throwing poop because apparently it's good luck. I was like, what the heck?
Is telling me not to bathe in cow shit, then thank God for my religion. But you could also say that atheists think that bathing in cow shit is just as disgusting, so...
Indian Fatigue. It has nearly 500,000 views in 4 days, and it's made by a friend of the channel Ib, so I'm happy to see him going viral.
So basically one friend makes a video and the other one gives his seal of approval. It's like 2 girls, 1 cup thing, where one guy shits on the cup, which is obviously Indian people, and the other guy just eats that shit up.
Dude, this is gonna be the many poop references that this guy makes in his video. Like, we need to put a poop reference counter on the screen. I don't know what's up with Indians. They just can't stop talking about poop, like literal poop.
They literally have a battle where they throw poop at each other.
One thing that everyone...
The video... Okay. So the video is a reaction to like what Tyler O'Ferria created a video. This person created an India Fatigue, misrepresenting information, talking about that poop festival. Of course, there's gonna be reference to poop. You could probably put a counter on how many times I've said dung, poop on my reaction as well. Why? It's relevant to what he's talking about. How can you be so blatantly stupid to not realize that he's doing commentary on what you created, on what your friend is backing you on? Of course, he's going to be talking about crap. You are so... my gosh. It's so... Oh my gosh, it's so freaking stupid. So freaking stupid. Of course he's going to be doing that crap. Of course he's going to be. It just doesn't make any sense to me. How could you be like, oh, they're really saying poop a lot? You made a video about the poop, about how it's India's #1 festival. No duh. No duh. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. Don't expect anything from dumb Westerners, I guess. We're all a bunch of retards. We absolutely are. I mean, that's the thing. It's just like, that's why I'm all about, like, I try to get the benefit of the doubt, and I don't believe these people are that retarded. I really don't. That's why I say they're in it for the money. That's it. Because remember, there are 1.5, give or take a couple million, 1.5 billion people in India and probably several hundred million outside of India. You could have close to 2 billion people in the world as a fan base or a hate watchers just by doing Indian content, Indian hate videos. And the thing is, a lot of people like to watch that stuff just to get enraged, then leave hate comments. He gets paid for every single comment. He gets paid for every single click on the video. He gets paid for all the interaction. That's what it's all about. It's about the interactions he gets. That's why I don't believe he's this retard. He's just taking advantage of it. He's scamming the audience for money. And if a bunch of Westerners believe it, like I was in college, like even before college, I was in high school taking college courses, and I put on my like a banner. It was either, I think it was Facebook. I put it on my banner because I guess rumors were going around. I just felt weird. It was just like, I put on my banner, everything you hear about me is 100% true from a certain point of view. I took that from Obi-Wan, of course. Obi-Wan about Darth Vader, you know. And the reason why is because I know what I do. But the thing is, let's say you have a friend, like that one white guy that reacted to his friend and only believed what his friend told him. He knew nothing else about India except what the video his friend made. He believed his friend. He didn't believe all the hate comments he was getting. He believed his friend. So everything he believes about India is 100% real. Not all the hate comments he's receiving because reacting to his friend's video. Yeah, you see what I mean? Everything you hear about about me is 100% true from a certain point of view. Because unless you go to the source, unless you find out the truth for yourself, you will always believe the lie. You will always believe the lie. And the problem is a lot of people fall out of that rabbit hole, that it's so much easier to just trust the person. To just trust the person that they've grown to trust, rather than doing the research themselves, rather than looking at like the other stuff. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, I'm already 20 minutes in and I'm only 5 minutes into the video. I hate this. I hate this. It's gonna be like that one Sandman video where I just go on for a long period of time.
What I admire about these Westerners is that when they want to hate someone, they go all over the place to find reasons to hate them. Like this festival this guy is talking about, 99% of Indians don't even know about this festival because there's only one village in India that celebrates this festival. These people amount to 0.01% of India's population.
This guy's dancing around the facts here. Well, yeah, sure, maybe about 0.01% of India's population celebrates that very specific festival. There's a handful of other festivals and traditions that involve cow poop that AI approximates about 65 to 70% of the population is involved with. That's not too far.
No, duh. When you include everything that, especially in like Hindu culture, cows are like revered, not worshipped, which is I think misrepresented in a lot of like Western media where cows are worshipped. No, they're revered. And again, there are so many things you can do with cow dung. Of course, it's a massive resource in India. Of course. I mean, no duh. You just do a small little bit of research and you will know, like, okay, so yes, cow dung would be utilized quite a bit. Quite a bit. Maybe not so much in the metropolitan areas, but probably more so in the rural areas. And there are a lot of rural areas in India. A crap ton.
Fetch when he realized that Hindus worship cows. So they're...
No. Am I wrong? Do Hindus worship cows? Because Nandi is, it is pronounced Nandi, right? She's the like you could speak to Nandi and then give it to, she's like the messenger, if that's correct. When it comes to like, I know the child's, like the kids movies, Little Krishna, you know, that kind of stuff. But when it comes to Nandi, I've not done much research more than just the fact that I know it's revered. It's not worshipped. The cow is not worshipped. It's a revered creature. Just like how, like I always wanted a pet cow. But just like how dogs are seen as like household pets. You see someone shock a dog, you wanna, well, hurt that person. Why? Because dogs are seen as like man's best friend. Dogs are seen as like a part of the family. So you want to hurt the person that hurt a part of a family. Even if that dog isn't yours, anyone that's willing to hurt a dog, there's something inhumane about them, especially in Western culture. But guess what? The whole world isn't Western culture. There are places that eat horses. There are places that eat cats. There are places that eat dogs. There are places that eat cows. America eats cows, of course. There are places that eat every single thing, all kinds of insects, all kinds of bugs, everywhere. It's that simple.
Their poop, for some reason, is seen as holy for them.
Can I tell you why we think...
No, duh! I just explained it, you moron.
think cows are sacred? Because when we didn't have food, cows were the ones that were giving us milk. They would look at cows like mother, right? So that's why they...
So are we supposed to kill our mother and throw her shit all over us?
And some of them are...
They don't kill cows.
Using cow poop as fuel and for fires, which I mean, I still think is a little bit gross, but that's not that bad. We'll talk more about that later on. I also don't understand why this guy is trying to act like majority of India is this modernized city dwelling, you know, up to the times people, when majority of them, 70% of them, are village dwellers that have these backwards traditions. Like, I understand you're trying to defend your country, but we have to see it for what it is, man. Like those people that were stealing the pavement off the road, like these are just these village people. What?
Yeah, there is a massive problem with like when they tried to beautify India, the amount of theft that happened, stealing the pots, stealing like everything, anything that's not nailed down was just being taken. And the problem is, you can't say the U.S. is better. You can't say the U.S. is better. The reason why stuff costs so much going to the store is because, well, theft is legal. And guess what? The reason why inflation goes up is because every time there is more theft done every year, the next year things have to go up in prices in order to compensate for the amount of people taking what they haven't paid for, taking what isn't theirs. In places like California, where I think it's gone up to like $2,000, you're allowed to walk out of the store with no fine, no nothing. You could just literally fill up your cart and walk out of the store. I mean, I don't recommend that. I absolutely do not recommend that. But it's just like it's nothing. It's absolutely nothing. They don't like. I worked at a store and it was just like, oh, if you see someone stealing, just follow them around and then jot down what they grabbed. Why? For tax purposes. For when they have to do an audit, an itemized audit. They know what disappeared.
What are they even going to be doing with this pavement? Are they going to be selling it? Are they going to be keeping it? Are they going to be worshiping it? Nobody knows. Well, actually, I did find out that some of them were stealing it to be used in their own house, and some of them were just stealing straight up concrete. I don't know why you'd want to do this, but some of these roads that these villages were dismantling were out of protest to show that these roads weren't properly being built and they're really flimsy. So I guess it's up to you guys to decide what was going on in these videos. Another thing I'd like to bring up is this woman from 90 Day Fiancé, which is a TV show where people overseas get engaged and hopefully married. She got engaged to an Indian man, came back to his home village to see how it was, and realized that they burn cow poop in the kitchen to purify the kitchen. I just gotta ask, what are the odds of that? You know, like, if this isn't happening,
it went to a rural village. And again, every custom is different. Every custom is different. It's, oh my gosh. He's basically saying that everyone in the world needs to be the exact same. But, I mean, if it's true that he is of Muslim descent, I mean, that kind of explains itself. Everyone needs to be exactly the same. But that's the thing. It's just like everyone is different. Everyone is different. Everyone has customs. Why the heck do moronic white people, moronic Christians, cut down a tree outside, bringing it inside, decorate the dying tree with lights that can start a fire, put socks over a fireplace? Why do idiotic Christians do that? Why? Why? What does those customs have nothing to do with the birth of Jesus Christ? Heck, the date is even wrong. It was sometime in June when Jesus Christ was born. So it's just the whole thing makes no gosh dang sense if you think about it. The problem is this moronic person is not even doing his due diligence on being, you know what? Is it stupid? Yeah. But so are some of the customs that happen here. Just like the same kind of moronic, like I view it as ridiculous. Like Catholics do this, Muslims do this, where, oh my gosh, I have to take penance. I need to slap myself, apparently, because I offended somebody. How stupid is that? How stupid is that? That you have to hurt yourself? It's just, a lot of this stuff is so freaking ridiculous. And the fact that his argument isn't even an argument, because if you actually put some rational thought behind it, you can find the same kind of stupidity in Western cultures. Look at the Easter Bunny. What does a bunny have to do with hiding chicken eggs? And what do the Easter Bunny and chicken eggs have to do with the resurrection of Jesus Christ? All right, someone tell me. Someone tell me. Nobody knows? That nobody knows? It's just stupid. It's so freaking stupid. But they do it. Why? Because it's just a custom. It's a festival. Tell me why, when a child loses their first baby teeth, they put it under their pillow. The tooth fairy comes and gives them a coin underneath their bed, or $1 or a $10 bill. Why? Why? What purpose does that serve? What purpose does that serve? It's so funny. I kind of wish he sees my video because this moron is just speaking nonsense. Is just speaking nonsense. Not even putting any, because he's just mad. He's just mad that people are calling him out for his crap. That people are calling him out for his crap. And I'm watching this live. I'm literally sitting here thinking up of counterpoints on the spot. I'm not trying to manipulate, trying to find other stuff. No, I'm doing it right here on the spot because I have nothing to hide. I have nothing to hide. I'm a retard publicly. Yet I can still come up with several arguments to completely negate any kind of thing he's putting forth here. Because he's being completely disrespectful, completely disingenuous. Everyone has different customs. Everyone does.
Commonly in India, what are the odds that they find the one villager that uses cow poop in the kitchen?
While we're talking about this,
or the show wanted to do it for the fact that it was popular at that point in time. The whole 90 Day Fiancé is shock factor. Most of that stuff is staged. If you knew anything about anything, did just a cursory bit of research, you would know that the majority of that stuff is fake. Who are the ones that are that actually are successful in 90 Day Fiancé? The ones you never see. They are there for 1 to 2 episodes and then they disappear for good. Because they're there, like all this stuff is pretend drama. And they stay on the show. Why? Because it's 90 Day Fiancé. You get there, you get married, it's done. Why does it continue? Because all they have to do is tell them the more drama there is, the more money they'll receive. So a lot of that stuff is staged. A lot of the stuff is staged. Anyone who knows anything about reality TV knows the majority of that stuff is scripted. Anyone believe the Kardashians are actually the way they are you see on TV? Heck no. All that crap is staged. It's staged to make them look different than they really are in person.
festival. Let's talk about the Tyler guy who made a documentary on this. That's it. He went there, recorded the festival and came back. After that, if he would have just normally uploaded the documentary, like a documentary, then there would be no problem in his video. But the thing is, this guy wanted to create drama. He wanted all kinds of controversies and also wanted to capitalize on the Indian hate. So instead of saying that I'm making a documentary on this specific festival in India, this guy shares his photograph from the festival with a demeaning caption.
Let's read the demeaning caption. Happy Diwali. Yes, I went to India's poop throwing festival. It was the shittiest experience of my life. That was a joke. That was a pun. I will never...
Yeah. But that's the thing. He says Happy Diwali. I think that's the real issue. Saying Happy Diwali. And then saying India's poop throwing festival. A lot of Westerners will see Diwali and poop throwing festival and put them hand in hand. It's a completely disingenuous comment right here. He should have just never put Happy Diwali. If he would have just said, I went to India's poop throwing festival, something different. It would have been something different. But the fact that he's equating it with Diwali.
Never go back. He probably doesn't want to go back to a poop throwing festival. Please pray that I survive. This wasn't exactly a joke or like him just saying that to be mean. He legitimately got tested for diseases after attending this festival to see if he's going to die or not. I don't know how you could be offended at this caption unless you yourself are pro cow poop.
After that, he posts 2 more videos from
the issue is he did it himself. Why is he complaining? Like, again, if I go and do something stupid, I'm not gonna... what's something? Oh, let's say I'm going hang gliding in Mexico and I lose an arm because I got trapped on the side of the cliff. I ran into it and my arm... I ended up losing an arm because of it. I'm not going to blame Mexico for it. It was my own stupid choice to do it. Just like it was Tyler Averia's stupid choice to go there and do that. He has no, he could say, I kind of feel like I regret my choices doing this, but he can't be like, oh, it's this festival's fault that I need to get all these tests done. Several $1,000s worth of tests. It was his own fault. He chose to do it. He didn't have to be there in person. He didn't have to be there in person.
that same festival with a similar kind of caption. And notice one thing, in each of his posts, he always claims this festival as India's poop throwing festival. Even though while recording his documentary, he would have realized that this festival is limited to only that particular village.
And where is that particular village? What country is that particular village located in? So what was India's response to this guy making this documentary on the poop throwing festival? Well, they spreaded rumors and lies that his mom does OnlyFans. And the Indian YouTuber that responded to me said it's justified because it's equal to him saying that India's poop throwing festival is in India.
And when Indians pushed back by reporting his posts and making fake claims like he did in his post, he started playing the victim card. Like, Indians are mass reporting me and doing this and that. I just feel bad for the people of that village because these guys were so generous and...
Yeah, I think that's the disingenuous part, is the fact that they were incredibly happy to have him there to celebrate the festival with them. And then he goes around, makes a ton of money off of it, and makes a huge stink out of it. Of course, people are going to start doing the same thing to him, lying about him. I don't believe in that. I don't believe you should attack lies with lies. I mean, given the situation, it's kind of difficult. And I'm not the one on the receiving end. It's all of India on the receiving end of a hate kind of video. But it's like, what do you do at that point? What do you do?
friendly and were happy that a foreigner has come to enjoy their festival with them.
Look, dude, he's so suspiciously supportive of this poop festival. It's weird. Like, it's almost as if he's trying to hide his jealousy or something. Like, he wished he was the one that was celebrating this poop festival. Darn, this Tyler guy got to go and enjoy this poop festival and make fun of these villagers, these poor villagers. If I was there, I would show them great time.
But those guys were not aware of his real intentions. This guy was acting as if he was really curious about the festival and...
Again, it's funny how he can say something and then completely go back on what he said. He was talking about how, or earlier, like probably 10, 20 minutes ago of me talking about this video, which is only 10 minutes in, where he was talking about, I can understand how you take offense and wanting to back your nation. And now he's going like, oh, now you're being in defense of poop throwing. No, you said he was being defensive of his nation. And now you're saying being defensive of his nation is being defensive of poop. You have no concept of what your argument truly is. You are a complete retard as a human being. Your argument makes no sense. Your argument makes absolutely no sense. And the problem is, a lot of people do this. A lot of people fall into this trap. I know I do that sometimes too. Everyone does. Everyone does. Where they'll say one thing, it's good, and then you end up going back on it just a few seconds later because you completely forgot what you said beforehand. I'm a retard. I do it all the time too, but IBZ is an absolute retard as well. He just knows that making hate content towards India is where all the money's at. Being in support of India, no money there. There's no money there.
Even acted as if he enjoyed that festival.
My question is, whatever is happening in India, why the F do these people care? I never said that 90% of Americans are on fentanyl and unalive others when they don't get it. Yeah, exactly. There are a lot of comparisons you can make with that kind of stuff. The reason why is just money. It's just money. That's the only thing that makes sense. That's the only thing that makes sense.
Dude, I don't think he enjoyed it. He's wearing almost a hazmat jumpsuit with goggles. I think once again, this Indian guy is projecting that he would probably enjoy it if he was participating in this festival.
There's a similar festival.
Heck, I would enjoy it if I was participating in the festival. Why? It's a unique experience. It's a unique experience. But the thing is, me going there and doing that, I would have to take a clean shower afterwards, of course, but it's my choice in doing it. It's my choice. Of course, I'd go all decked out as well, which I would assume that they were thought like, that's funny, this foreigner thinking that cows are impure and afraid of their feces. I'm pretty sure they thought that. Nothing heinous towards it. It's just like, this Westerner.
Which is celebrated in USA as well. Here the Americans try to throw the poop as far as possible, which might seem less ugly than the festival that this Tyler guy documented. But here's the catch. The participants have to throw cow dung in multiple turns, and between each turn, these guys lick their fingers. So now it evens up to the other cow dung festival.
They told me to lick my fingers in between throws.
Well, you get 2 throws. If you throw it in the men's open, you get 2 throws. And the old secret of throwing, after you throw your first chip, you're supposed to lick the fingers before you throw your second chip.
So it's up to you to decide which festival you want to participate in.
Dude, they're throwing cow shit and licking their fingers in between. That is so gross, first of all. I just don't think that's anywhere near bathing in cow shit. Also, it's extremely easy for me to look at these people and be like, hey, that's gross, and they probably shouldn't be doing that.
No, duh! Why can't you make the same kind of connection that these Indians are having as well back home? That's his argument. All of America does this because only this one small location does this. No, you're just being as rational as, guess what? The majority of Indians hating on you. Why? Because you're doing the exact same freaking crap. You're spreading a narrative that doesn't exist, making sure people hear a lie that isn't true, that's making that lie true to the rest of the world, people who are too idiotic to ever learn anything for themselves. If the US wasn't so chronically online and chronically, like, you know, posting their own mental illnesses, if, let's say, someone made a video about this and most Americans weren't like tech savvy or posting nonsense online all the time, the majority of the world would probably see this idiotic video and be like, okay, these Americans are quite barbaric. They're throwing cow dung and licking their fingers, but in between, it's just, what the heck? And now you're taking offense at this comparison and being like, no, it's not the same. It's not the same. And I am disowning this group of people. I am telling them, well, that's what Indians are doing as well. They're going like, wait, we don't identify with this group of people. Why are you lumping us in? And now you're doing the exact same thing. I don't identify with this group of people. I don't identify with these Americans. I'm someone different. Again, how can you contradict yourself within like the one paragraph you're talking about?
Instead, when people are like, hey, this is a cow poop festival that's happening in India, you're crying that it's racist. It's almost as if you know that cow poop has such a strong chokehold on Indian culture, that calling it out is now racist. Like, I haven't heard this guy condemn the Indian poop festival once. Like, he's over here trying to defend it and saying that these...
He did. But you chose not to put it in the video. You chose not to put it in your video. Why? Because a lot of the morons who come to watch you will never go and watch Sandman's content. Why? Because you're making your own thing. And they trust you, they believe you. And that's the problem. You've built this narrative around something that doesn't exist, and people believe you. I truly believe, as like a content creator, as well, I hate saying influencer. Who the heck do I influence? But as a content creator, you have to do your due diligence of being either honest to yourself and call out the parts when you've been wrong, or you have to put your like, you have to be honest 100% to yourself first and foremost. And if you don't know something, be honest about it. Be absolutely honest about it. Because if I don't know something, I don't know something. Like, I'll check something out and then people will say something in the comments that's different. It's just like, that seems a little weird. I'm just going to continue. I'm going to finish this, figure out something else. Maybe I'll learn something else along the way. And you don't have to always agree with everyone. But that's the problem. It's like now we're in a culture of agreement, where everyone needs to agree with everyone. And you literally are creating a group of people that will only ever follow what you say. And that's the problem. A lot of people who gain a bit of a following, they grow a big head and think like, oh, you know what? I can get away with almost anything now. Which, that isn't the case. We all should be held accountable. We all should be, we should all be ourselves 100%. And also our community should be able to call us out as needed. And a community should never be in a cult fan base. It should never be a cult. It should be a bunch of individuals who somewhat think the same and yet want to have disagreements as well.
Indian villagers that do this are like these poor villagers for being tricked by the content creator. But I just feel like this is such a false equivalency. First of all, you have like, what, 15, 20 people here, and like 3 of them are throwing cow poop and licking their fingers? You're comparing 3 people throwing cow patties to like an entire village. Like this...
Yes, a rural village. You're equating. So India primarily has hit like its stride. Consistent internet has been like in the last 10 years, right? In the last 10 years, India has received consistent power over all of India, or consistent internet. I know there's still like power outages and things like that, but internet. All of India has more internet access than America even has now. But the thing is, imagine growing up with where all you know is this. I mean, you can look at the Amish cultures in the United States. They have no internet. They grow up doing their customs all the time. They go outside on occasions, maybe to vote, maybe to go to the hardware store and get a few tools. But other than that, they spend all their time off the internet. They don't know what's going on. So what they do in their community is completely isolated. Imagine growing up in that community, then going out and realizing, oh, maybe the whole world doesn't do things like this. However, it's what we do. We're going to continue doing it. Most of these kids have grown up realizing, oh, this is a festival only exclusive to our little town. But it's going to continue doing. I mean, look, there are the same amount of people participating than there are outside. Probably a certain age group, they just stopped doing it entirely.
This is like 70 people right here. Am I the only one that kind of gets the creeps from stuff like this? I mean, look, it even has like demon fangs and demon claws.
See, that's what I told you earlier. Mr. Bomberman is trying to convince his audience that Indians worship some kind of demon.
Okay, yeah, I got that wrong. But Indians do be worshipping some demonic-esque looking stuff, right? Like, here's a goat getting its head chopped off, and then the blood is being drank. Here's some guy biting the heads off of birds. Here's an Indian goddess defeating a demon. Can you tell which one's the goddess and which one's the demon? Wait,
Yeah.
That face that they're making is kind of familiar. That's the same face that this Indian lady did at another festival after wringing the head of a chicken off.
This video is actually from an animated.
But it has to do with the deity. Again, it's a false argument, because it is a very, like, my wife is like, oh, this. I'm not going to explain, but at the same time, yes, to an outsider, does that look completely deranged? Absolutely. But guess what? It's not my culture. It's not your culture. And we do things that are absolutely ridiculous to them. Imagine going to a slaughterhouse for them when they revere like cows, and then they walk into a slaughterhouse. How barbaric do you think that would be? I mean, well, if you're actually Muslim, imagine going to a pig slaughterhouse. How horrific would that be? How do you feel when someone's just sizzling bacon in front of you? I mean, it's false equivalence, but at the same time, you know what I mean. It's just, everyone has different beliefs. Everyone has different perspectives. Everyone has different things that make them comfortable in life. But I find it ridiculous. Like, you can say something makes you feel uncomfortable as a person, but you can't call it demonic. Like that. Does it look crazy? Absolutely. Does it look demonic as a foreigner? Absolutely. But I would never say it is demonic, because it's not my belief. It's not, I don't know enough to actually form an opinion on that kind of thing. That's the problem, is like, people who've grown up in the West feel like they're the top of the world. That they feel like they can look down on everyone else because they're at the top of the world. Indians have also started hating foreigners because of this kind of content. Exactly. And it's just insane. It makes no gosh dang sense. But he's just in it for the money.
Chronic show, which was organized to show various events from the life of Bhagwan Krishna and how he defeated some demons that came to kill him. This woman was a demon, or you can say an American from Middle Eastern descent, and she was sent to kill Bhagwan Krishna, but Bhagwan Krishna killed her instead. You can see baby Krishna in this video as well. Doesn't look like a demon, right? Unless you are some abortion puglu, which is very common in Western society. So in that case, any kind of a baby is a nightmare for you.
How about for good luck, then we take this baby and drop it off of a 50-foot building? That's what they do in India, by the way.
Okay, first of all, why does this video even exist? Cultures across the world have been worshipping different things. And if the Bomberman, as Salman calls him, is actually interested in having a religious discourse, he should have done his research. But it seems his peanut-sized brain can't comprehend the complexity of Hinduism.
Understand the complexity of Hinduism is an absolute crazy thing to say, not just because it's a religious belief in their own religion that nobody's going to be able to fully understand the religion, but the religion changes literally every single day, to the point where we have people now worshiping Labubus.
Again, you could say the same thing about Christians. You could say the same thing about Muslims even. with how there are different imams. There's the extremist organization that basically has a huge hold over everything. And then there are the imams that actually preach certain sects. Just like there are pastors, there are different sects of organizations. There are different kind of organizations in Christianity. And then when you get to something that has books and books of context, like so many Vedas are on top of everything, of course, there's going to be different people that feel closer to certain things, certain divine entities than they do to others. And then there are also certain areas in villages and things like that have their own divine kind of entity protecting them. Like, isn't Kantara based off that kind of thing where a small entity, the divine, is protecting them? And then there's a story for him, yet it's a demigod at that point in time, but the demigod is revered as their protector. So again, it's so nuanced. There's so much there. It's okay not to believe it yourself, but you can't say that it's impossible to understand. Sure, there are a lot of people that get things confused, and there are probably people, like I've always said, like people tell me I need to learn more. I always go like, I'm not going to spend years of my life trying to learn something which I will never fully understand, because I just can't dedicate my time to that. I can't. I can barely get through a Bible. I could barely get through the Quran. I can't dedicate so much of my time to that. But then again, the Quran, the Bible, the Book of Mormon, all short reads. All short reads. But so many people see so many different things in each one of those books that it's literally interpreted differently depending on the reader. So the fact that you can literally say, oh, no one can tell me this, what it is, because everyone has a different interpretation. And honestly, when you have a different deity, which you can feel more close to, whether it's Shiva, whether it's Krishna, whether it's what is the goddess that, I forgot her name. The violent one, the drinking blood one, cutting off heads, drinking blood. Like, every single one, someone might feel more comfortable to one than another. Or maybe something bad happens and you change to another one because that's the one for like battle. That's the one for harvest. Kind of like how Catholics have their saints. Oh my gosh.
Tapping bridges for good luck, throwing babies off of buildings for good luck, sacrificing toy airplanes to the toy airplane god for a visa approval. Don't forget the cow poop idols, the rat temple, and worshiping humans with deformities. I mean, you're right, dog. It is way too complex for me. I just don't think I'm alone on that. I think everybody else is just as confused as I am, including the Hindus.
Right.
That's okay.
They're saying Hijra, it's not Hitler. These guys are calling themselves Hijra, which is technically a third gender, or in today's context, they are American from Middle Eastern descent.
This guy has been making LGBTQ digs at Western culture this entire video, and it turns out that Indian Hindu culture has had transgenders in them for thousands of years.
No, duh. Every single culture has had transgenders in them for thousands of years. Cross-dressing, lesbians, gays, hermaphrodites have existed since primarily since we had conscious thought. There have been people who have felt differently. There are people who have thought differently. There are people who have acted differently. Why? Because we're all individual. We are all individual. I think he's just making fun of it because the Western culture is just such an easy dig right now. We have no forms of entertainment that are actually enjoyable because it's just, I think the last thing that was good that came out was Project Hail Mary. Oh, and I did enjoy Michael. Somewhat. But other than that, everything always has a message, a freaking message. That's, I think, primarily why Sandman was doing that dig.
Let's take a break from the response to look over more clips that I found.
What is your name?
Amina.
And your name?
Oh, what did you do? You dropped it. You pick it up. $1? No, I'm not giving you anything. Look at this. It's your country, so you live in trash, okay? You're gonna live and grow up in trash.
This is some kind of weird culture that they have in India where they just throw stuff on the ground and just not really think much about it. Like, these kids obviously learned this from somewhere else. This Indian woman sees somebody recording the pollution in India and decides to just add to the problem. Just in the middle of it, just right perfectly in frame camera. Oh, you have some trash in your hands? No, that's okay. Just throw it right in front of my shop. No, you don't know how to throw it on the ground? Here.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You can complain about it. Like, I've even called this out as a problem. The thing is, when you're in a situation for so long, like after my first time in India, I'm kind of numb to it, but it still bothers me. Like, it was funny. I'm going to rat out my brother at this point in time. But we pulled over as we were driving up the mountain to Dollhousey. It's Delosi, but I call it Dollhouse. We were driving up to Dollhouse, and we stopped over, we got some chips, and we kept driving up. And I was talking about how, like, I've been holding on to a bag of chips that I need to throw away in a garbage can because I'm just not going to throw it out the window. Right when I was saying that, my brother had rolled down the window and tossed the bag of chips outside. And he looks in the rearview mirror at me and my wife and goes like, oh, sorry. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, because for me, it's just how I was instilled. It's how I believe. And I personally believe that each person can make a difference as long as you're doing your own part. And everyone needs to have that same mentality. The problem is a lot of people don't learn that because they have learned that, oh, just leave it. Just leave it. It's someone else's job to clean it up. We don't need to do that. But then there are places in India that do have throw it away culture. That do have that culture to throw it away. So it can happen. It just takes the every individual's willingness to do so to get to that point. And finding people.
I'll show you. And then, yeah, he just dumps it right in front of his shop. This guy was at a Subway where he wanted some green peppers, but it fell down in the little container where the sauces were. So he was trying to tell the guy, no, I don't want that one. And the guy puts the same one into the container of green peppers.
No, so you're not comprehending me. Green peppers. Yes, green peppers, but I didn't want one that fell right there. You know, that was dirty. No. Green pepper. Yeah, but you put it back in. Yeah, one of them fell, so like probably can you give me new ones?
Here at this Subway, this Indian worker tried to give himself a $40 tip.
$1 tip. Look at this shit. Look at tips. Nigga trying to take $42 tip off this nigga's card. You wild.
He was probably thinking they wouldn't look at the receipt. He probably was thinking they wouldn't look at the receipt. My man's trying to swindle.
Bro, you look dumb. Yeah, you laughing, bro. Take that shit off. He needs his money. He needs his money.
I know this wasn't related to the pollution and like dirty habits, but I just thought it was funny to throw in. Physical dirty habits, not morally dirty habits. Here is trash getting swept out of a train, like literally just being pushed out of the train into the environment. They even have this bagged, and instead of just throwing away properly, they just toss it off the train. This train stuff actually gets worse. No, I'm not going to be talking about the Indians that love getting hit by trains for some reason. No, somebody just took a poop in the aisle of the trains, and looks like these Indian women are making fun of it. And then the camera pans over to this group of people. Are these the culprits? Are they doing it? I don't know. I don't speak Hindi. There's a bunch of Indians bathing in a bunch of polluted, trashy water. I mean, this doesn't even seem like an anti-Indian video because it has a bunch...
I think that's probably the Ganges River because it's sacred. They're still willing to get in it. Like, that's the thing. It's just like, I remember going to the Golden Temple. One half, like, it's all stagnant water. It's all stagnant water. It doesn't get cleaned or anything. One half had people bathing in it. The other half had ladies getting the palm of water and then drinking it. I was just like, okay, all that skin that they're washing off on one side is going to the other side. But to each their own. I mean, I was creeped out. But it's to each their own. If they get sick for that, it's their own choice. But as well, I mean, when you view something a certain way, you become blind to certain things. You absolutely become blind to certain things.
Bunch of happy Punjabi Hindi music in the background that I have turned down. It seems like it was like a pro-Indian that posted this. Like, he's happy and like he's showing off his culture. All right, man, let's just get back to the response video.
So here this Chinese guy is showing a deodorant bottle to an Indian, and obviously he's not going to recognize the deodorant bottle, which is not available in India. And
you don't know? Look.
Perfume.
Deodorant.
Perfume?
That Indian guy literally said perfume, which is not very much different from a deodorant.
Dude. This guy just said perfume's not very much different from deodorant. I think
that's what's funny when all fragrances originated in India. All fragrances originated in India, so the word perfume is like interchangeable. Just because you're an American and we need a specific word for every single thing because we're all retarded doesn't mean they need the exact same. Like, I remember my wife was like, oh, we'll get you some perfume. We'll get you some perfume. And I was scratching my head. I was like, I'm a guy. We get cologne. Why would I get perfume? And then we went to a perfume shop and I was able to mix my own fragrance. I was like, oh my gosh, this is actually really nice. This is really freaking nice. But perfume is just a word that's utilized because A girl can go to a perfume shop, a guy can go to a perfume shop because they're making it right there for you. They're making it right there for you. It's all interchangeable.
It's a problem, buddy. If you use only perfume, the shit smell from your body, from your undeodoranted body, and probably unwashed body as well, is gonna mix with the perfume's strong scent and make you smell even worse.
And the Chinese guy is reacting as if he said Taiwan is a separate country in front of the CCP, and now we are all going to die. First of all, if a Chinese man proudly shows me something online, I would just think that they have manufactured a new virus back in Wuhan.
Dude, first off, this guy's not even Chinese, like not even close. And then you're making a dig at Chinese people due to COVID, but your own people try to use cow dung and cow urine to cure COVID in India.
I don't need that.
Brother, you need to use it. You need to use it.
Why would I?
Because now you're gonna smell bad.
It doesn't matter.
This guy just asked, why should he be using deodorant, as if it's not the obvious answer to that. Like, bro, you are going to smell like shit.
Well, I understand he don't want to use deodorant because he doesn't know what deodorant is. He knows perfume, but you don't know what perfume is. So it's kind of a khichdi that's happening here. But even if he doesn't use deodorant, I don't think he's going to smell like shit because he's not a Westerner. You see, Westerners have this culture of not washing their ass and their hand after they take a shit. But at least in India, we wash both of these things. So at max, he's going to smell sweaty.
That is the problem, dude. This is the problem, dude. Like, this guy thinks that if you don't use deodorant, you're just gonna smell sweaty. No, that is not how it works, dude. Bacteria then eats the sweat and rots.
You guys really need that deodorant to suppress the smell of that shit stuck in your ass crack. But that's not the problem with at least this guy. But yeah, giving you the benefit of doubt, I think he should use deodorant as well.
Dude, this guy is like bragging about why he doesn't need to use deodorant and then tries to backtrack after he realized his roast failed. He's like, well, to give him the benefit of the doubt, I think he should use deodorant as well. Bro, you were just defending him for like 3 minutes on why he shouldn't. Also, he asked why he should use deodorant, to which he says, brother, you're going to smell. And the Indian guy responds, it doesn't matter. He didn't say it doesn't matter to him not using deodorant. No, he said he just doesn't care if he smells.
No, this one. No, I don't use that. I don't use any of this. Wait, I thought it was just deodorant. This is body wash. No, I don't use any of this.
Oh my god, it's body wash too. He's refusing the body wash.
You don't use any of this? Here, just try it out. No. You don't want it? I don't want it. Oh, you serious?
No, yeah, look guys, once again, he only uses perfume. He doesn't need body wash.
Yeah, well, also being it pushed on you, I avoid that kind of crap as well. I avoid that kind of crap. I mean, heck, the other day I was out with my wife, and this idiot started talking to me about Windows. I'm just like, oh, okay. And I just kept walking. I was like, I don't care. I don't care. I don't need to know this stuff. I don't need to know this stuff. Do I look like a window cleaner or something? Maybe. But yeah, it's just like there are always these people, especially in like malls, people hound you all the time. And nobody likes a camera being put in their face. Nobody likes being recorded. Nobody does, especially on the spot. This whole thing is just done for a bit.
Deodorant, shampoo, none of this. You know, us Americans, we need this stuff because we smell like shit, right? But no, not these guys. I think that's the problem. These guys think that they just naturally smell extremely good, and that perfume is just going to cover up their scent, and it just doesn't work.
Are you sure?
No, they don't. No, they don't. They don't. Like, that's the thing. I'm related to a few. I mean, heck, my brother takes better care of himself than I take care of myself. He takes way better care of himself than I take care of myself.
Give it to somebody else. You're not going to use this? No, I don't use any of this. You don't use any soap or anything? All right, thank you. All right, thank you. That's for you, sir. That's for you. Merry Christmas, sir.
Okay, I'll be fair. You know, we're 1 for 2. Good for this guy for assimilating into the culture properly.
Merry Christmas, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we're 2 for 3. That's great. I'm glad that some Indians actually accepted it.
It's free stuff. It's free stuff. Free's free.
And we're 2 for 3 for assimilating properly into the culture and not making other people uncomfortable. And that's fine when you're in India because I'm sure everybody else just smells the same there. Right. But when you come to Canada or America, you're gonna whip people's heads wondering what that smell is.
Yeah, that's a bold statement, but same goes to Canadian and American people as well.
That's not true. That's not true. Neon recently disproved this. Neon is an Indian-born immigrant, first generation born immigrant, and he went to an Indian festival in Canada, and even he couldn't handle the smell.
Well, Chad, it's the first day of the Canada tour. I'm not gonna lie. We're in India. We're in India. We're not even in Canada. We're in fucking India. Everybody chill. Yeah, this is
I think that was his bodyguard's smell. He sniffed his bodyguard's armpit. I'm pretty sure that was his bodyguard's smell.
That's your truck? Bro, I'm escaping.
Dude, even he got hit by the whiplash of the smell. And it's funny because he's a first-generation Indian immigrant. So it means he was born here in the Western countries, and even he's not used to the immigrant smell of Indians trying to assimilate here. This is your people not being able to handle your people's smell 1 generation apart.
But there's a lot of fucking Indians, all right? And specifically, I hope this Uber driver sees this, man. I know you're probably not gonna see it, but the Uber driver that took me from the airport to my hotel, brother, you're an amazing guy, you're a good guy, but your car smelled like an actual fucking, like, it smelled like a sewer. Like, it was terrible.
You see a place where everybody's moving around having a pile of shit stuck to their assholes.
Dude, no one...
The entitlement these streamers have. Oh my gosh. Like, I understand there are people that have like bodily issues that make them smell more, whether it's like a stomach or ulcer that makes their breath constantly bad, or like their bodies, their pigmentation, they sweat out too much and they just have like a bad odor smell. And it also has to do with like what you eat. What you eat also indicates how badly you smell. So like people that have way too oily foods, like the greasy fat people in the United States have a very bad smell. Why? Because, well, they just don't have really, they don't eat cleanly. And when you're eating clean, you have more of a natural smell, even though it's still bad. You should still brush your teeth. You should still put on perfume, deodorant, you know, wipe, clean and wipe. But at the same time, it's just like you have to be aware of those kinds of things, especially for yourself, because I can probably go a day or two without, you know, showering. I mean, I can't go a month without showering like another certain streamer, but a day or two without showering, it's not that big of a deal, because guess what? When I'm lazy, I don't move. I don't move at all. Why would I need to shower when I literally am not working at all? Which I probably need to start exercising, which would mean I would have to start showering more. But yeah, there are so many different things that go into place, and people need to be self-aware. People need to be self-aware. Are there people in India when I was there that probably should have been having more perfumes and things like that? Yeah, absolutely. But then again, I've walked across a ton of Americans that smell just as bad, maybe even worse. So it goes the same. No matter what you find as a problem in one location, you're going to find as the exact same problem somewhere else. Sometimes it's even worse.
Else in the world complains about American and Canadians and Western countries smelling bad. They all complain about Indians smelling bad. And why are you acting like you use a bidet? You shit in the streets, dog. There's no bidet in the street. 11% of India's population, or roughly 157 million people, that's about half of America, still open defecate. So if you're defecating in the street, what are you wiping your butt with or washing your butt with? You're telling me that they care more about their own butthole than their city's streets? Or their village's streets? Like, are they carrying a water bottle around to wash their butt? Baby wipes? Something to wipe their butt with? 11% also is an insane number of people that open defecate in your country. That means if you took all of the Indians and put them in a room and jumbled them together and took 10 of them out, one of those people open defecate.
International students, great. They're all
Yeah, your mother will get you if you skip a bath. Yeah. Luckily, I'm old enough to make the choice for myself, but I also don't move. I probably should be moving more.
all studying at schools that are legitimate.
Yeah,
no,
this person
94%
has no
are studying
identity.
at community colleges and these diploma mills for certificates, like Anderson College, that used to be a Walmart, and then they made it into some diploma mill.
What the fuck? What? I've never heard of this.
Like Anderson College, that used to be a Walmart.
What?
And then they made it into...
Bro, this is like an entire iceberg.
There's no such iceberg. These colleges and diploma mills are run by Canadians only, and they know that many Indians want to come to Canada and work there. So these guys just open random colleges so that they can earn money from Indian villagers. In total, Canada earns almost $8 billion from Indian students alone, and I don't think it wants to lose that money.
Actually, they do want to lose that money, which is why the Canadian government has been cracking down on these diploma mills. And also, do you think $8 to $22 billion is a lot of money to Canada's economy? So yeah, basically these people are using these diploma mills shown.
It is to the people that actually make a ton of money there. Like, it's always the top 1% that make the majority of the money, that make the majority of the profits. Everyone will always find a way to, like, again, I said it at the beginning, people will always find a way to take advantage of a system. Systems only work when the people in the system are willing to abide by the rules. There are always people who are willing to break the rules for their own benefit. No matter where you are in the world, there are always people who will break the rules for their own benefit. Look at so many politicians in the United States, how much fraud, especially just in the state of California. There was the high-speed rail, which billions of dollars was sunk into it, and there is a small little stretch between Modesto and Fresno. Well, not even that far. It's like just outside of Modesto, I believe. A small little, maybe 1 kilometer. Or no, kilometer. 1 kilometer. That's the correct way of saying it. 1 kilometer. And that's it. Just 1 kilometer. And it was billions of dollars. And then there was also the wildlife bridge. Millions of dollars sunk into that. Not finished. Not finished. Where'd all the money go? Where'd all the money go? It just up and disappeared in the ether. It's like, it's just blatant corruption. People will always take advantage of the situation. That's why I hate politicians, and I think leaders need to lead. But We don't have leaders, we have politicians.
Which really aren't real colleges, in order to loophole the student visa laws.
So yeah, Canadians are running those schools and taking hefty amount of tuition fees from Indians just to give them a diploma without proper education, but still Indians are the bad guys.
Diploma mills or visa mills in Canada exploit specific loopholes in the immigration system to provide international students a pathway to work and permanent residency rather than an actual education. The primary ways they loophole the system include designated learning institution status. Institutions obtain official DLI status from provinces, which is a federal requirement for a student to receive a study permit. Post-graduation work permit eligibility. They offer a program that qualifies graduates for a PGWP, allowing them to stay and work in Canada for up to 3 years. This work experience is a critical loophole needed to gain enough points for permanent residency under the express entry system.
Yeah, Neon is Pakistani, Indian Pakistani. Yeah, that is the mix he is. It did say it, but for his narrative, he basically said Indian only. But yeah, the Neon guy is a mix.
Work authorization during study. Student visas allow for off-campus work, currently capped at 24 hours per week as of 2024, which some institutions use a primary selling point to attract people seeking employment rather than a degree. And if the Canadian government's working to crack down on these loopholes, are these Indians really coming to these countries legally? Previously, this guy said that he would be on my side if he found out that these Indians were coming illegally.
And yeah, if you're calling out the Indians who have illegally immigrated to different countries, then I'm on your side.
But this take just makes them look disingenuous. US has blocked Indians from applying for student...
Yeah, the thing is, well, you guys were talking about Canada, not the US. But the thing is, there are always people, like the people applying don't know it's illegal. The people applying normally don't know it's illegal. They're just being utilized. They're just being utilized.
Visitor or work visas in third countries to bypass the long wait times. So yeah, these Indians somehow were applying for these visas through third countries such as Vietnam, Thailand, and even Germany to avoid long interview waits. This wasn't a total ban on Indians getting these visas. This was just a ban on them using other countries to bypass the long interview waits. So these Indians would somehow go to like Thailand and then apply for a US visa through Thailand, posing as a Taiwanese person, and then getting entry. This is horrible because not only are these Indians being disingenuous, but this is bad for the countries that they're using. I mean, imagine if you're a Vietnamese citizen wanting to get entry into the US, but you can't because an Indian had taken your place. Well, surprise, surprise, Indians have heard about it, and in the comment section of this Instagram post, we're absolutely fuming, even though this is like a legitimate reason to ban. Hi guys, please help me with the decision. My husband is an H-1B holder earning $140K per year. I am H-4 and working. We don't have kids due to this H-1B visa uncertainty. We are very stressed out. There is a guy in my office who is a green card holder who is financially well settled. He likes me a lot, and I kind of like him too. Can I divorce my husband and marry my colleague? I don't want to be stressed out for a visa in the future, and I don't want to visit India again. You know what's funny? This guy's been calling American cucks this entire time, yet Indians are getting cucked for visas. Imagine your country being so bad that your wife would literally rather divorce you and cuck you for a green card holder than get deported with you back to your home country. This is when Trump signed an order imposing a $100,000 fee on the new H-1B visa applications. But that's okay because these super rich Indian villagers that are carrying Canada's economy can afford this surely, right? So what's the problem? One last one and we'll continue back to the response. How is the life of an Indian immigrant in Australia? As an Indian who's lived in Australia for over 15 years, I feel fairly qualified to answer this. The biggest myth. Coming from India, the first thing you'll notice is that it's definitely not like how the movies portrayed it. No, Australian women won't drool over you when you talk to them in Hindi. Is this where they're getting their propaganda from?
That is obviously a joke. That is there's no way he posted that being like, I came here specifically for that reason. I came here specifically. Yeah, that is obviously a joke. That is obviously a joke. 100%. 100%.
Is Bollywood movies. Is the Bollywood movies also the ones that told you guys you don't need deodorant and you just need perfume? Anyways, back to the response.
Millions, literally millions of villagers.
Oh my God.
High school and college kids for jobs. That's why people are talking about pooping on beaches. Indians have been here forever. Never heard about pooping on beaches until now.
This is why I told you guys to finish your food before we go into this video a little bit deeper because yeah, we will be talking.
No way. Don't be pooping on the beach in Ontario. Oh no. I mean, guys, is this real? With all my heart, I do not want to believe this is real.
Talking about this shit.
No, it's not real. If you properly look at the article in the background, it specifically mentions no proof. This no pooping on the beach campaign was a propaganda against Indians, where few people claim that they saw some Indians shitting on the beach, but they did not have any proof of that, because actually there was no Indian shitting on the beach. It was just a false claim.
Okay, this one isn't his fault. He's just reading off of a news article, which the news article is actually wrong.
Wasaga Beach is famous for being the longest freshwater beach in the world, but in recent weeks, it has been talked about for a different reason.
She's seen that they were using this as a washroom.
This TikTok account claiming that her friend witnessed a group of beachgoers using their tent on the beach as a toilet.
Using their tent as a toilet? Then take your tent down. Have an open tent.
She was pointing out to me this is where they filled it in, and she personally seen them using it.
This and several other videos about people defecating on the beach have garnered hundreds of thousands of views.
So there's no video evidence at all? I don't know, these guys...
Is there... Well, that's what I was about to say. Is there any actual video proof? Like, especially this day and age, there is no one actually recording that. Like, there are so many incidences caught on camera just because everyone has a phone out at every given point in time. There's always an angle. the fact that nobody recorded it, I mean, they're at the beach, sure, but I'm pretty sure someone's there doing a selfie, you know, the glamour photo type stuff. There's gotta be.
You look pretty Indian too, and is it really that big of a surprise since this happens in India? Pooping on beaches happens in India, and then there's just people poorly assimilating to the culture here in the West? Literally, while trying to find footage to edit for this video, I found out about the Baina Beach Pooping Zone, which is a beach in India where they just zone off a specific part of the beach with like a red flag to designate this is for pooping. I assume because they're either too poor to build a restroom on the beach.
Yeah, it's the impoverished location. It's the impoverished location. They can't afford, or that they, yeah.
Or maybe it's just easier for them to poop on the beach. I don't know.
Dude, their houses are right here. How can you make that talk about that when you literally see their houses right here?
Is it really racist to say, hey, this happens in India? Maybe people who poorly assimilated to our country pooped on our beach because that's what they're used to. I don't get.
No, it's the ones that can't afford. Like, that's the thing. It makes sense. Let's say those homeless people somehow were able to get a visa, get a plane ticket, make it all the way to Canada, and then they started pooping on the beach over there. Sure, that kind of makes sense because well, not really, but that would be the closest similarity. It's like, oh, it's a toilet, but it's just like that's their home. They have no other place.
You know, Europeans are like, oh, you can spot an American from a mile away. Well, not a mile, more like 10 kilometers away by the way they dress, the way they hold themselves, the way they talk. But you say something similar about Indians and all of a sudden it's racist. You know, like it's just a part of their culture, in all honesty. In fact, I have many clips of Indians doing this around the world. Here's an Indian guy pooping outside of the Taj Mahal.
But taking a shit.
Here's an Indian guy pooping on some guy's lawn in Australia.
That could be a homeless person.
What are you doing?
I know there's so many homeless people that just poop on the side of the road.
What are you doing, guys? What are you fucking doing? This is Australia. Don't fucking shit on the ground, you fucking pig. Go! Get out of here!
Believe it or not, but the Australian man was the one that got jail time for this. Here's a guy pooping on the street in Canada.
Yeah, you taking a shit in my neighborhood? What are you doing? Why's your ass out? I'm sorry. Why are you pooing in my neighborhood? Get in your car.
Both of these guys were claiming to go just pee, but who squats to pee outside? I mean, is it not better to just stand up? I know a lot of cultures are against standing to pee, including my own, but if you're already peeing outside doing something that unorthodox, you might as well just stand. And why is this guy peeing towards his car then if he's peeing? Peeing outside, in all honesty, really isn't that bad. It's not the best. You should obviously find a restroom, but it makes me wonder the way these guys are acting.
I've never gone to the restroom outside. I've never even peed outside. Again, I'm an introvert. I've never really gone out and done anything with my life, so yeah, I've never done that, so I'm good. I can't relate
to any of this. They were truly peeing, or if they lied and they're just pooping, which would be worse. I mean, here, even if your dog poops outside, you're expected to pick it up. Imagine accidentally stepping in on Indian poop. And here's a guy also pooping on the street in Paris. I just showed you 4 continents in 4.
But that could easily, like, you could go to San Francisco and find a bunch of poop. You can go to LA and find a bunch of poop on the side of the road. Guess what? It's Americans doing it there. You can go to New York. You can go to Dallas. You can go to Chicago. You can go to Little Somalia in Michigan. You know, Dearborn, you'll come across all this crap. Why? Because guess what? There are the intoxicated, there are the drugged up ones, there are the ones without any sort of care in society. Like, there are so many indicators that lead to, like, people just not caring. Are there some Indians that do this? Absolutely. Are there Americans that do this? Absolutely. Are there, like, Europeans that do this? Well, I don't know. I've never seen any drugged up, completely out of it British people that have been doing it. But then again, I lived in San Francisco, so I've seen Americans do this a lot. Like, there was an app for this when I lived, or shortly after I lived in San Francisco, for keeping track of where the homeless had done dumps. Like, you would open it, the entire app was brown because they were just crapping everywhere.
Indian people shitting on the street. Well, in fact, while editing this video, I found one more. An Amazon delivery driver who happens to be an Indian woman pees on the floor of somebody's porch. You would think that delivering an item to somebody's porch would be an indication that it's not okay to pee there.
You guys claim that women are unsafe around Indian men, but I have already covered this topic in my previous video, so I'm just copy pasting that content here. But right now, let's talk about women and child safety. See, these guys claim that women and children are very much safe in their country, but the reality is, white men are their god's most soldiers. Taking United States of Cucks as an example, the population of US is almost 1/3 of India's population, but they have almost 5 times more cases than in India. And I know some Indian with inferiority complex will shout, no, in India,
cases are not recorded properly. That's why the count is very low. Americans are better than us, sir. You are saying things wrong, very wrong.
So for your clarification, I've checked the national record and it mentions that almost 60% of rape cases are unreported in US. And let's assume India is very bad and we have like 90% cases unreported and US has only 60% cases unreported. Then also US is way worse than India.
There's a problem with this because both of these countries have different ideas of what rape is. Expansion, 2013 amendment. Following the 2012 Delhi gang rape, laws were widening to include non-consensual oral sex and objects insertion as rape. So if you had penetrated a woman forcibly without consent with an object or in her mouth, it was not considered rape until 2013. Also, marital rape, where a husband forces his wife to have sex, is illegal in all 50 states, but it's not illegal in India. This math also only works if you believe that there was only 32,000 cases in India, which, I'm sorry, I don't care who reported this. That's just not believable. I'll tell you why it's not believable either. It's because...
Yeah, I had basically the same kind of argument. It's one of those things that you just can't fully grasp, especially with the cancel culture and a lot of the false positives or the false allegations that were levied against people, and the fact that even the most minute thing can be considered it.
There's only 152 to 153 police officers per 100,000 people in India, which is below the UN recommendation ratio of 222. Also, apparently about 20% of police stations are vacant. That's a pretty big number when you realize if something like that happened to you, you have a 1 in 5 chance of there being nobody there for you to report to. I just don't buy it. I just think your guys' police force is just that bad that there's nobody for these women to report to, or they just hide it under. No, sir, of course not. Of course none of that is going on here. Like, for example, in Nepal in 2020 had 2,144 cases of a population of 30 million. I don't mean to bore you guys with math and statistics, but Nepal is just north of India. It's borders India to the north. The reason why I bring them up, unlike Pakistan and Bangladesh, Nepal is Hindu and from the same region. So I assume same region, same religion. Surely there's gonna be a lot of cultural similarities and therefore behavioral similarities, just under a smaller population, so it's easier to manage. And they have 272 police officers per 100,000. Let's compare that to some regions in India. Gujarat, 528 cases despite having a population of 60 million. Karnataka, another region with 505 cases with having a population of 60 million. Funny enough, this is the same region that harbors the town that has the poop festival. I went kind of down a rabbit hole of this. So this region only has one big city, which is considered the capital of the area. This city only has 191 police officers per 100,000, which we determined before was already considered understaffed. If the capital of the state is this understaffed, I don't even want to think about the situations going on in the surrounding villages that are so remote that Indians don't even want to associate with them because they throw cow shit at each other. So is it just a giant coincidence that this state in India that's full of these backwards villages?
See, he's losing me with the argument when he brings up like throwing the cow crap. Like, I had the same kind of argument when I watched Sandman's video, the fact that things aren't, it isn't counted properly. And now he's using all the numbers and everything to back his arguments. And that's one thing I don't like, is like, first he was using his emotion to try and be an argument. He was basically contradicting himself in his argument, and now he's actually using facts and logic to kind of make his case. Why? Because this is the one situation where it's incredibly easy to debunk what Sandman was talking about. The fact that cases are like definitely unreported in India, like they're hands down, especially with the type of culture, the shame, the things like that, the fact that the family can be looked down upon if their child went through something like that. Like, it is not ideal, and not everyone is like this, but the problem is there is that baked in kind of culture. It does exist, and that's the one thing where, yes, it isn't reported enough. It isn't. It is much more of a problem than it really is, because I've seen the movies and how they encourage certain kind of things, which I know what I see when I see it. I mean, I've studied like not propaganda, but like biases and how to easily manipulate people. I mean, film. I was an idiot. Went to college for film. But I learned, well, I didn't really learn a lot, but I learned to see the telltale signs, and I normally call it out when I see it. And I have a problem when I see that kind of stuff as well, because it's literally misleading a whole generation of people to be like, oh, this right here is okay. It's just like with the trash being dumped everywhere. You have that mindset of like, everyone's doing it. It doesn't matter if I do it. It's the same kind of mindset. It's the same kind of mindset.
That throw poop at each other, that are understaffed in police, coincidentally also have an extremely low case rate, 1.4 billion population in a country that's extremely understaffed, with 60% of the country being villages that are morally gray, and you expect me to believe that there's only 32,000 cases. I don't mean to beat on a dead horse, but if India truly had only 32,000 cases, maybe my math is off, but that would mean per capita, it'd be right above Japan. Does anybody believe that Japan and India have a similar per capita case rate? And if you calculate these Indian states as a country per capita, per 100,000, they would have only 0.8 cases. This would make them third best in the entire world. Probably the best in the entire world, because honestly, I don't believe Lebanon either only had 1 case in 2023. And Palestine, you can probably imagine why they don't have many cases either due to their situation. So I ask again, does anybody believe that the state that harbors the poop throwing festival, does anybody believe that this state, if it was registered as a country, would have the lowest case rate in the entire world? Indian police officer arrested for allegedly raping girl who reported gang rape. In a tweet in Hindi, senior Congress party leader Priyanka Gandhi Vadra asked, if police stations are not safe for women, then where will they go to complain?
I was standing and this is like 6 o'clock, and at 6:15 this guy was jerking off right at the cycle track. It's crowded. If you're from Hyderabad, you would know the cycling track is extremely crowded. Morning, like, I miss my gap.
See, this is the only argument he has that actually makes sense. If he wanted to do just this, I would be okay with it. I have no problem with it. Why? Because it is an issue. It is an issue. I told my wife about this, like when we first started talking, because she was recommending movies for me to watch, and I'm like, oh, this is what this movie's trying to say. This is what this is trying to say. This is what this is trying to say. And I'm pretty sure I annoyed her with that. But at the same time, it's just like, I think people need to know when someone's trying to indoctrinate them into something. People need to know this stuff. It's a massive problem when people watch something in it. Like I watched Kabir Singh, and immediately I was like, oh, he's the bad guy. He's the bad guy of the story. It's like the anti-hero phrase, just like Animal. He's the bad guy. He's not a good guy. But for some reason, people have led themselves to believe that he's a hero. No, he's an anti-hero. He's the bad guy of the story. There's nothing wrong with following like the Dirty Harrys, the French Connections, you know, those people that are corrupt, but they're the main character of the story. There's nothing wrong with enjoying that film, but you have to know that they are not a good person. That's the problem, is they try to sell these terrible people as good people, and that is not good, especially for the upcoming generations. They see this, it's idolized, it's praised, and then all of a sudden you have a bunch of the next generation is influenced by, oh my gosh, that's very cool, he's a boss. Like, no.
I would have opened like 2 milliseconds earlier. I could have shown his face. This guy was jerking off right in front of me, and now he left. But as for, I don't even come before sunrise. I come always after sunrise. I check the sunrise time and I start at that time. Because I don't even feel safe in an auto or in a bike wearing running clothes. Because these auto wallahs and bike wallahs will be staring, and they will be like uncle, like 55-year-old uncles. This is supposed to be a safe space, right? Like, isn't it Hyderabad?
She says this is supposed to be a safe space, right? Isn't it Hyderabad? Implying that outside of the city, it's even worse than a guy jerking off on the side of the road while she's running.
For the Middle Eastern society, I think it would be a shame for Indians to be compared to that society, because these guys literally have games in their countries where they grab a...
Yeah, because this is where I had the main issue with Sandman, was right here in this part of his video. But that was it. Like everything else I was okay with. And then he came to this part and I'm like, dude, you're definitely pulling on the wrong thread here. You're pulling on the wrong thread. Because this is the only thing that actually makes sense. Because, again, talking to my wife, the fact that my mother-in-law can't even go outside on her own. My wife, as soon as it starts to, she can't even go outside. Like, how dystopian of a society do you have to be in to where a woman is afraid to go out at night? Like, it was funny. Like, me and my wife were going for a drive late at night, and there was a woman walking like around a park in her exercise clothes, and it was like, I think around 9 at night. And my wife was like, "Why the heck?" She's just like, "Oh, she's just exercising." Because it's not in anyone's head to do anything. Probably in a few psychopaths that need to be locked up. But that's the thing. It's just like you this is where I had the big issue with Sandman. And that's the thing. Not everyone is bad, but the problem is, due to the population density in India, you're going to have more bad situations happen, especially when people are easily being influenced to have the mindset, oh, since so many people are doing it, what does it matter if I do it too? And that's the thing. Something as small as like litter, telling people to like, oh, you can make a difference by just doing your part, does a lot for society. Does a lot for society. Sure, not everyone will cross the line into doing something terrible towards a woman or a guy or whatever, but that mindset is there. That mindset is instilled, and you just have to squash it. You have to squash it.
girl and form multiple circles around her. The people in the internal circle keep on raping the girl while the outer circle keeps the crowd away. And when the job is done, the whole gang just run away and nobody faces any consequences. They did it once with a foreigner news reporter and then it came to the limelight. But this is a very common thing in their country.
You guys literally have a Wikipedia category page of gang rape in India. That's not unique to India, by the way, but why are we pretending like this doesn't happen in India? I mean, there's even protests against gang rapes in India. Like,
The calls for justice have led to clashes with police who are being accused of a cover-up. The head of police in Uttar Pradesh state, where the attack happened, say the evidence collected doesn't support accusations of rape. He says people are using this case to stir up tensions.
People are upset. People are upset because this has been a problem that has existed for way too long.
This, once again, isn't unique to India, but, like, this happens pretty commonly in India as well, and maybe at the next protest we'll see some lizards.
Not to forget, their musical festivals are a hub of sexual assaults. In a survey, 92% girls reported that they have faced some kind of harassment.
Yeah, I'll be honest, he's got a point with this one. These people that go to music festivals are pure degenerates. It's full of alcohol, drugs, and nudity. You know, nobody deserves...
Yeah, I think I said pretty much the same thing. I said the exact same thing. It was just like, well, of course, it's a music festival. These people are on so many different types of drugs, alcohol, opioids, all different kinds of things.
To be sexually assaulted, but using the men in this example is not the best litmus test for America. These men that go around sexually assaulting women at music festivals, they don't...
Well, it's not just the men, it's the women as well. It's the women, like, again, the men are intoxicated, the women are drugged out of their minds. In the end, and the thing is, they both make the choice. However, they're still able to call, you know, SA because, oh, I wasn't aware I was drunk when both of them were both mentally unstable. Again, I don't condone it at all, but the whole thing is just like, it's still a little skewed because they're all being degenerates at that point in time.
Speak for everybody. But it couldn't be any worse than the holy festivals that these women record of them getting groped at, and of these Indians that, like, take a bunch of selfies with these girls around the world. Indians will see a pretty foreign girl or a pretty girl that's not Indian, and for some reason have to take a bunch of selfies with her. This is not a celebrity. This is just a random woman on Instagram who posted about this Indian mob that came to take photos with her. What do they do with these photos? Are they, like, in their friend group like, bro, remember that one time I took that photo with that one girl? This woman got the exact same treatment. They just all surround her, line up to take photos with her. I just don't understand. What is the point of doing this? India is the only place that has this culture. You'll never see this in any other country or any other culture. They just surround women and take photos with them. You know, if it happens once and you try to generalize it, I would say that's racism. But if it happens more than 5 times on video camera, at that point it becomes a stereotype and it becomes something that needs to be solved or at least talked about and discussed. If they're not taking photos with you, then they're just following you around. Like, here's some Indians that were following a Turkish woman and he's just standing there like he's expecting something. Like, I don't understand. He just has his hands on his hips like he's like waiting for something. And they're all just staring. I love traveling with my wife because we get to spend so much time together, just us, until you go to India. And it's because a bunch of Indians are for some reason just taking a bunch of photos with her and of her. Here's an Indian guy that tries to, like, go up and kiss this statue, and he goes back, but then he, like, reaches in and grabs her breast and starts groping it.
And this is just 20th century, guys. In past centuries, these guys used to burn women alive when they refused to get raped and called it witch hunting.
This guy said I spread misinformation, but he just pulled out the R word out of nowhere, which is a pretty bold claim in all honesty. I don't know where he got that from, but Hindus have some pretty weird traditions too. There's a Hindu tradition where if a wife's husband dies, she's expected to burn herself alive in his grave with him. This wasn't changed until India was under British rule, and it wasn't seriously criminalized until 1987. That was 40 years ago. And it still happens on rare occasions in rural areas. Imagine if you just heard of a witch hunt going on where a woman was burned at the stake in, like, the Appalachians of West Virginia.
And these assaults are not limited to women and children only. As you know, majority of these guys are gays, so they equally assault men as well.
Was the lizard a little bit of a better option for you then? I mean, in India, they gang rape a lizard. I mean, hey, at least it wasn't a human. Some people will argue that's morally better. Some people would argue it's morally worse. I just think I'm against it all entirely. This guy is drinking cow piss.
So now we're coming back to cow piss, and that's perfectly fine to criticize. But I don't think a person from Middle Eastern descent should have any say in this, because their own culture is drowning in camel urine and camel dung. These guys have been using camel dung to cure dysentery, and that dung has to be fresh from the asshole.
Look, man, I'm not saying everybody should go around eating camel poop or whatever this is, but clearly this shows that it worked to cure something, and it seems like Germans actually looked into this to turn it into pill form. While it seems that there's been studies that cow poop can have some antibacterial properties, it doesn't exactly cure some specific disease in humans, and there's better ways to disinfect yourself than use cow poop. Yes, I am aware of the camel urine hadith, but this is heavily debated by scholars, with majority of scholars saying that it's only allowed if it can be proven in medical trials, which is why distilled camel urine is not mass-produced like it is with cow urine, and being sold on Amazon. Also, I found out that cow poop patties are being sold on Amazon. A lot of Indians are kind of insecure about their race and claim to be something else, or...
Yeah, that's one thing I also don't like is...
So our guys don't actually react to what I said here, they kind of just react to what a Cheeto said, but I did find more information on this and more examples. A proud Indian boy from Bihar mistakenly recognized as Italian. Dude, just because you combed your hair and trimmed your mustache a certain way does not mean you look Italian. There's some Indian...
Yeah, I don't think he looks the same.
Guy that did so many cosmetic surgeries that he managed to look like a buff white blonde guy. I don't even know how this is possible, dude. If this is real and not AI, then and props to this guy for the dedication, man. It's still a little weird, but hey, that's some good dedication. Stay hard, believe in yourself, man. Here's a wanted poster for German Preet Singh. I wonder if Poland Gupta has seen him. There's also an Indian soccer player with the same name. I wonder if this is how, like, broke moms here in America name their daughters, like, Mercedes, Alexis, and Porsche. Maybe Indian moms be naming their son German Preet because they couldn't get German citizenship.
Sandeep, why, as an Indian man, you want to date a German girl like me?
For getting German passport, madam.
For a German passport?
Yeah, after getting married to you, I will have German passport. My father's dream was to see Germany.
Okay, but to be fair, there is some worse names out there.
My name's Arpit Nigam, and I am here representing the OCAD.
Okay, it's not fair to make fun of people's names, especially when they're coming from another culture that, you know, it doesn't translate to English. Except for the German Preet one, that is insane, and I looked into the origin, that literally just means German loving, which goes back to the topic of them loving other races more than their own.
Look Indian. What? Look like Indian. German, look Indian. Here in Delhi.
He does not look Indian at all, like not even a percentage, not even half a percentage. This guy looks more like PewDiePie than he does Indian, which is understandable because they're both European. Speaking about Indians and PewDiePie, for some reason, a lot of Indians think PewDiePie is responsible for all the Indian hate on the internet.
Yeah, that's something I don't understand. I don't know what triggered the whole thing. I can't say, I never knew much about PewDiePie, I'm gonna be honest. Like, when I was on my YouTube grind back in the day, I was heavily into anime, and I didn't care for watching Let's Plays, and that's primarily what he did. I didn't care for, I honestly didn't like reactionary content back in the day. And then I finally realized what the thrill of it truly was, what the enjoyment of it truly was, is like seeing some idiot, some retard out there trying to make sense of something, you know? We always got to be retarded. We always do. But yeah, I mean, I don't understand what PewDiePie did. I mean, no one's ever actually told me. I'm hoping that I'll get an explanation right now. But everyone says PewDiePie is the start of the whole thing. I don't know why. I don't know why. I mean, if he had a bad experience, he had a bad experience. If he told the world he had a bad experience, well, that's his choice. And if everyone got upset that he had a bad experience, well, he had a bad experience. People should have just made sure he had a better experience. I mean, I Show Speed went around the world, and he had a great experience everywhere he went.
Because of that one song he made. You know, the song he made based off of heavy Indian stereotypes that are observable.
Everyone loves PewDiePie. That he was able to get away with so much. Like, accidentally starting a massive racist hate train that targeted Indians online, which I'm sure bled into real life. How did he do this?
He spoke on Indian stereotypes that have a basis on real life. Literally, there are screenshots to document this. Send me your vagina pic. Hi, are you fucked at night? I want to kiss your vagina. I want to kiss your vagina for 2 hours and put my 1 feet penis in your vagina. You will happy. Indian celebrities, top 10 sexiest female Olympic athletes ever. Looks like he's trying to say awesome boobs, but he said awesome bobs. I'm not gonna lie, that's actually a very impressive misspelling of awesome. Like, he spelled that out in his head and came to that. The triple A's and everything. And then we come to the infamous, hello dear, how big is your pussy? Very nice pics. Send me knock dig pics, snow you bitch. Hello, bitch, lasagna. Being harassed by Indians on the internet is pretty common, but I don't know what made him send that last part. I don't know what he thinks lasagna means. If you've been a fan of this channel and watch my videos pretty often, you would know that I'm actually really good at putting myself in other people's shoes to know what spelling errors they meant and typos they really meant. But this one, I genuinely have no clue what lasagna could have meant in this context or what he was trying to say or even articulate. And if you've also been a fan of this channel, you would know that I believe that stereotypes don't come out of nowhere, and I've demonstrated this with, unfortunately, my own people and my own culture.
Well, duh. Yeah, like, that's the thing. I joke about stereotypes all the freaking time, and they're there for a reason. I mean, if PewDiePie was only making fun of stereotypes, then I don't think he's the cause of it. He was just making fun of stereotypes. He was. Like, I think stereotypes, of course, are there for a reason. Of course are there for a reason. It's funny. It's absolutely funny. Anytime I hear a stereotype, I start laughing my head off because it's there for a reason. How do you stop a stereotype from being a stereotype? You break the narrative. You have to actually do something different and make sure, guess what? The majority of the stereotype changes with it. But I don't think that'll ever actually change, because so many people are ingrained into what they do that stereotypes will always be stereotypes. They'll just always be that way. There's no way you can change people changing how they feel that India's a scamming nation. People won't, because how many times have I been called? I'd be late at night at work, and then I receive a phone call about how I have a bill to pay, or I get an email or something about how, and then all the spelling is all off, about how, oh, I accidentally bought an iPhone on my Apple card. I mean, I don't have Apple. I hate Apple. So it's just like, so many things are just scams. And then every time I get a scam, even if the spelling's right, I just equate it like, oh, I'm getting emailed from India. Why? Because it's just ingrained into me. It's a stereotype. Do I believe it's 100% true? No, but I think it's funny to joke about. But that's the thing. I do it in humor. But that's the thing. You have to do it in humor. You can't do it in hate. And this person primarily seems to be doing it out of hate.
Cultures, which is why PewDiePie didn't come up with the stereotype, you know, like most Indians believe. He just kind of used it as a megaphone, be like, hey, yeah, this is what's going on, and he was joking about it.
I'm a blue-eyed white dragon while you're just dark magician.
Okay, I didn't pick up that one 7 years ago. That one did seem a little bit racially motivated, PewDiePie, I'm not gonna lie. But one thing I did pick up on is that bitch lasagna guy lives in the capital city of that one state that's in India, where I suspect the case number is being lied about. Indians practically love Israelis, despite Israelis seeing them as subhuman.
See, I'm in a hurry, so I'll explain you briefly. Indians do not love Israelis.
I've seen videos of Indians worshipping Israelis, but okay.
You see, India has seen many terrorist attacks from Pakistan, then, but Indian government does not take any strict action against Pakistan. But on the other hand, when Palestine attacked Israel
just like you can see a bunch of Americans worshipping Israelis. Just like you can see a bunch of Americans worshipping Iran. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Oh, I've seen videos. Well, I've seen videos as well. A bunch of Americans worshiping Iran. A bunch of liberal white women who are basically wearing next to nothing, talking about Sharia law should be instilled in America. Make it make sense. Make it make sense.
and that's why the Indians like Israelis, because they believe at least someone across the globe is fighting against terrorism.
Supporting children getting bombed because they share the same religion as your mortal enemy is the most sub-90 IQ take I've ever heard. The man is saying, I love Israel, and he's being told to go back to India, and it seems like his girlfriend, wife, or sister or something is saying, you are the king of kings.
This is an unverified fake video. This is also an unverified fake video.
Dude, you can't just say everything is fake and unverified. In fact, on this video in specific, I have another camera angle where he's like worshiping this Jewish man. What would be the motive to fake this video? Like, it would just make Indians look like they're in heavy support of Israel, which you just admitted they are.
Wigs are made with Indian hair, over 99.9%. It's called black gold in the industry.
You wouldn't believe where this video is heading.
In 2004, this fact changed everything for Orthodox Jewish women.
Yeah, Jewish women were like, wow, this is such amazing hair. Where did you guys get this from? Oh, India? Yeah, we're gonna have to burn it now.
The article clearly says that Indian wig may contravene their religious law, so all of those women burned their wig.
But I point out the irony of the situation that it's not permissible for them to use hair that's been used in other religious rituals as a wig, but them using a wig in the first place is a loophole. So obviously they pick and choose which rules to loophole and which rules to be...
Duh, everyone does that. Everyone does that. That's not exclusive to India. That's not exclusive to India. Everyone does their own thing.
Strict about. I'm pretty sure the Indian wigs were pretty cheap, which is why the Jews had them in the first place. So I'm pretty sure if they really wanted cheap wigs, they could have made a loophole for this. But in all honesty, I think this was just an excuse to not hurt the Indians' feelings or to save face on the Jewish community. Because if you straight up say, hey, these cheap wigs we're buying and using, we found out they're coming from India, burn these are gross, you'd probably get a lot of backlash. I mean, why did they burn it in the first place? They could have donated these wigs back to charity for cancer so cancer patients could have a wig to wear.
We find it from the Torah that it is our promised land. It is our ancestors' land.
I think I've just about heard it all. And
she's Christian, that's why. She's Christian. You can tell. I'm guessing she's from like Nagaland or somewhere along, you know, the Seven Sisters. Honestly, I'm being stereotypical and racist just because of the way she looks. I'm assuming that. However, they have a huge Christian population there. So of course she's gonna say it's their homeland, it's their promised land. Because she's Christian. No duh. No duh. Just because people come from India doesn't make them Hindu, doesn't make them Muslim, doesn't make them Christian, everyone's unique and individual. Unique and individual. She's most likely a Christian, which is why she's talking like that.
Indian just said that in the Torah, this land was promised to them, and it's where their ancestors lived, while a Jew in the background is looking at them smiling. What do you have planned, sir? There's no way you would let these people come without a plan. The caste system in India was abolished.
Yeah, no, so I actually know about this because my old roommate knew an Indian guy who was like born in India, and he learned all of the things that are actually common cultural practices.
I remember that. My friend of a friend of a friend, he told me about this. So you're getting like fourth-hand information.
And they do follow the caste system invisibly.
Now you might be wondering, when did this start? Because it got abolished in 1950s. Surely that's around the time your grandparents were born. So when did this start? Apparently it was estimated to start in 1500 to 500 BC. So a system where you are heavily discriminated against based off of
it hasn't like fully even gone away.
What family you were born in has existed for almost 3,000 years, if not over that.
It says that
well, that's how Buddhism basically got started. Buddhism became very strong because Hinduism was saved for like the Brahmins, like the elites, and everyone else was kind of shunted. They felt to the side. That Buddhism started to get more of a foothold until it started becoming more accepting of everyone, I guess. I'm not entirely sure. That's just a bit of the history that I can remember off the top of my head.
system's origins are rooted in Vedic period. Not that it's prevalent from 1000 BCE. In the same screen it's written, it was a fluid division of labor called Varn. Do you know what fluid means here?
Do you know what initially means? Initially, a more fluid division of labor called Varna, with 4 main groups: Brahmins, I'm not even gonna try it. 4 main groups. It became more rigid and hereditary over time. So sure, maybe like 3,000 to 4,000 years ago, you could have changed your caste through your occupation, but nowadays you're born with it, which is the current problem.
It basically meant that your caste was decided by the kind of work you chose to do. If someone wanted to join the army, they would be called a Kshatriya. It was not rigid. In fact, it wasn't even a system in the way it is portrayed today. Later, due to misinterpretation, it became rigid, like many flawed systems in the world. But what the Bomberman wants to say is that you should hate all Indians because some of them follow the caste system.
I never said that. I never said you should hate all Indians. I was just criticizing the caste system that has a pretty strong intertwinement with Indian Hindu culture.
It means a person can change his labor class if he wants to. So it's not like what this Bomberman is trying to claim. But yeah, it's true that over time it became rigid, and right now it's a strict system.
So what was your point then? What was your argument? You just agreed with me again. Like, yeah, no shit, 3,000 years ago or whatever, it was a flexible system based off your career choice. But nowadays, that hasn't been the case for a few hundred years, if not a few thousand.
But stop worrying about the Indian caste system for a minute, and let's focus on the Middle Eastern caste system.
Middle Eastern caste system? Okay, let's get into it.
Yes, I'm going to show you the caste system within the Muslim society.
Ah, Muslim society. I thought it was Middle Eastern. There is a difference, by the way, and I'll show you why.
Basically, Muslims are divided into 3 sects. The first one is the Ashraf. This is the high-status group claiming noble or prestigious lineage, often associated with Arabs or the other invading groups. They are connected to religious leadership, governance, land ownership, and businesses. The second is the medium caste in the Muslim society, which is Ajlaf. These are basically the people who were converted to Islam from Hinduism, and they are mostly from the lower caste of Hindu communities, because upper caste Hindus do not convert easily. And at last we have the Arzal group, which is the lowest, most marginalized group, often referred to as untouchables within Muslim society. So basically everything here is similar to the Indian caste system.
Oh wow, yeah, it's similar to the Indian caste system. Gee, I wonder why. I've never heard of a Muslim caste system, by the way. A system that internally conflicts with a religious faith? And this was Middle Eastern? Oh, it's South Asian Muslims that are doing this caste system. So Indian Muslims have a caste system similar to Hindu Indians. This is once again an Indian problem. Like, I have no problem dissing these Muslim Indians that believe in a caste system because this is an innovation on my religion, which is a major, major sin. This is your people claiming my religion and then adding cultural differences from your people into the religion. So once again, this is just an Indian problem. No wonder I've never heard of this, and I haven't even heard any critiques of Islam with this being brought up. But yeah, man, I'm the one who's spreading misinformation. I'm just spreading what my eyes see and what I can verify, yet you're literally looking up and spreading false information.
If I wanted to, I could also pick random bits of data from across the internet and paint a narrative that a certain community is bad. But that's what propagandists like Ibs do. He wants you to fight among yourselves.
Dude, you're comparing a system that has been notoriously known for being intertwined with Indian culture that even Indians are protesting it.
Hindus, answer me as a question you. Have you heard of Sureka, a 45-year-old mother with 2 sons and a daughter? She bought land among the upper caste, despite being born as a Dalit, as you like to call her.
Yeah, this is something that bothers me. This is something that bothers me. Like, anytime I hear it, I just try to call people out when I hear it, because it's just like the whole... I honestly feel like someone's utilizing and trying to take advantage of India and utilizing the caste system to have people hate one another. Like, hands down. Like, you'll find it in my comments section. Like, I'll do a video that's primarily based on, like, North India. You'll get people from South India, you know, complaining about it. Not, of course, not everyone, but you'll always get those people complaining. And then I'll do one about South India, and then you'll get one on people from North India complaining about it, being like, oh, it's this, it's this, it's this. Why are you doing this? You know, that kind of nonsense. Instead of just being like, you guys are all one nation. Sure, do I agree with everything that goes on in Texas? No. Do I agree with everything that goes on in the state I'm in? Absolutely not. But I still love the fact that I'm an American. I still love the fact that I'm American. I'm not gonna demean. I'll probably disparage the Karens, but I'll never actually hate on the nation I'm in, being like, oh, you know, that part to the east of us. Yeah, east. I'm in the west. The east of us, you know, that they're all evil people. All those people on the east side of the continent, they're all evil. You shouldn't listen to them. Like, no, that also never made any sense to me.
She made her way with pure hard work, providing education for her daughter, for her sons, and security by purchasing a land. But she made a mistake. She bought land among the upper caste. A caste system that you guys made up. Do you know what the Kumbhi Marathas did to her? They stripped her and her daughter naked and tied her to a cart. They made her 2 sons their own mother.
But sir, you don't understand. Muslim have caste system too, you know. Like, this is just absolutely horrendous, like nightmare fuel. Remember that protest that happened earlier where that lady was talking about it earlier in the video? Yeah, this also happened due to a caste dispute.
Meenakshi Ganguly is with Human Rights Watch in India and says the outrage is intensified by the fact the victim is a member of the Dalit caste, formerly known as the Untouchables, and often victims of violence. The 4 men arrested are of a higher caste.
Yeah, like the whole system is just weird. Like, my wife still like reads articles that happen, And every now and then she tells me something that happened like a while ago. There was in one location in India, I think it was like maybe a year ago, where a woman was basically paraded through the streets completely nude because of one thing she had done. It was just incredibly barbaric and disgusting. Incredibly disgusting. However, it was just allowed to continue. So there are bad situations, but that happens everywhere. Well, not so much the walking or forcing a woman to walk nude everywhere. But that kind of stuff happens. Some kind of absolutely abhorrent things where the system just isn't there to help certain individuals. That stuff happens. And it's just insane. Like, my wife will always tell me about it, and it's just like, oh, I don't want to hear that. Oh, that's disgusting. It's crazy.
The real reason no one in the West is talking about Hindu fascism. It's because caste, the root of Hindu fundamentalism, is the same thing as white supremacy.
Saying that is very similar to white supremacy, and you're comparing this to a system that nobody has ever heard of, even the critics of that religion. And then I'm the one that's being
well, except for the fact that the majority of the extremists in that religion believe that they are the only religion and everyone else should be removed. Everyone else is a kafir? A kafir? Yeah. Everyone else is, shouldn't be there. They shouldn't be there. They shouldn't belong. You either convert, run, or perish. Or perish, as they said, as they chased out all the Kashmiris. That's just how it works. But that's the thing. It's just like, oh, you are the elitist. You are the top of the top. I mean, that's the argument you can have with, and I know not all Muslims are the same, but the problem is stereotypes exist for a reason, right? Right? You said so. Stereotypes exist for a reason. And the fact that it's becoming, especially in the Western society, where the extremists that aren't even allowed in Muslim nations are taking over and finding a foothold. Like, they're so extreme, they're not allowed in Muslim nations. They're finding a foothold in the West, in Europe, in America. They're finding a foothold there. Why? Because, Islamophobia. But stereotypes exist for a reason. I mean, you said so yourself, so you can't get upset the fact that I'm talking about how, well, since that belief believes itself to be the pinnacle of all, that you do have a caste system. You just happen to be at the top of it. Everyone else is beneath you and inferior to you. Am I wrong?
told that I'm spreading propaganda, even though these guys are only getting views on their channels when they defend India. And as you can tell, their defenses are extremely subpar. But since Indians are so desperate for somebody to defend their country for once, they delude themselves into thinking that these responses are actually good, which is why whenever these videos are being made, they come and raid my comment sections as if these responses were good. An Indian truck driver in Florida that killed a family while making an illegal U-turn? Well, this is the Indian response to that. What's wrong? He took out 3 pedos. Chad took out 3 pedos from this world. Oh, but these Indians were making jokes about it and stuff like that. But in the moment they found out he was Khalistani, they turned on him. By the way, Khalistani is just northern Indian.
What the fuck, man? How delusional or dumb you have to be to show a fake map and expect us to believe it? I mean, your audience and this guy might be that dumb, but not everyone is, man. Khalistan is an idea of a separatist group, but it's not officially a part of India. The actual Indian map looks like this, and the Khalistani wants to cut a part of India and make it a new country, Khalistan. But that is not done yet.
This guy just disagreed with me, called me and my fans stupid, and then showed a map that agrees with me. So you're saying Khalistan is not northern India. So why is it when I cross-reference the 2 maps you showed me, it shows that Khalistan is in northern India? This also doesn't disprove the fact that Indians were supporting this guy, but when they found out he was Khalistan.
Khalistan, I think, is the belief in, like, you know, the Sikhs trying to find their homeland once more, trying to get it back because it was split during the partition. They're unhappy with the partition because it was separated between primarily Muslims and Hindus. The Sikhs didn't have a voice. The Christians didn't have a voice. But then again, I don't think the Christians would have cared one way or another. They're too unimportant in the scheme of things. But yeah, the Sikhs were a huge majority. They were like the warring class in India, and now they had their home taken from them due to the partition. So it makes sense that they're unhappy.
And they turned on him.
There's a visa Gurudwara, but people offer toy aeroplanes waiting for the visas to get approved.
Like, who comes up with this? Like, how do you know what to sacrifice to get approved?
The same way Muslims came up with sacrificing a goat during Bakrid.
I'm sure a lot of my fans are non-Muslim, so let me explain. Bakra Eid is where a goat is sacrificed, and the meat of that goat is then used to feed the poor. And he's comparing that to a toy airplane god to get their visas approved. I mean, dude, no offense, but there's a reason why nobody really takes Hindus serious. This was basically their entire video. Do you think I was spreading propaganda, or do you think I'm just spreading the truth as how I see it? And it comes back to the age-old question, why are Indians getting so much hate lately? Is it really something as simple as they just make more money per capita? Or is it based off of our experience and the behavior we've seen them portray on the internet? Could it have to do with them poorly assimilating to the Western culture with pollution, open defecation, loopholing immigration laws, and possibly even lying about cases in their country? Did PewDiePie cause Indian hate, or was he just capitalizing on what was already there? I don't mean to spread hate, and I'm sorry if this seems like propaganda to you, but facts are facts. Also, don't be this guy. This guy was harassing some Sikh Indian guy in Canada, going up, telling him to get out of his country and stuff. And it's like, this guy wasn't bothering anybody. He was too far for you to smell him. He wasn't pooping anywhere or peeing anywhere. He just went up to an old guy and started harassing him. Don't be like this guy. It's important that we don't use violence and instead discuss this peacefully with our words, because the people like this just dilute the message, and it's very counter.
I don't like how he's ending it that way. Like the whole, oh, don't be pestering this guy. We can do good. He's not pooping or peeing. You're adding to the problem. You're literally adding to the problem, signing off that way. Literally saying he's going to do it. By your verbiage, you're literally saying, oh, he's not doing it right now. Right now. That's literally what you're saying. You're absolutely adding to the problem. You are not bothering to do much research yourself. The only thing that you actually said that made sense was when you were in defense of like the SA allegations, because I remember watching Sandman's videos, and when he did that, I was pissed off because it made no gosh dang sense. His argument had no sense in no actual grounding in reality. No grounding in reality, but he was pissed off at having his nation all brought down to, oh, this festival is about throwing crap, instead of the fact that it's just this one town that does it. And you kept going on, doubling, tripling down throughout the entire video, trying to make yourself seem more intellectual when you weren't. You were just adding to the problem. You hand wave here as you do a trick with your hand. You have everyone look at your hand while you do something else, only for a few seconds later to completely negate what you were saying or be a complete hypocrite by what you were saying. I mean, again, there is nothing wrong with standing on what you believe on and what you believe in, but you can't demean an entire group of people. That's why stereotypes exist for a reason. You can joke about stereotypes, just like I will joke about religion. Religion is a joke in the long run. It's a joke in the long run with how people get so bogged down in the monotony of it, in the fact that they all start to plant their flags and run in defense of it, instead of just being like, you know what, clearly you don't understand. Let's sit down and talk about things. That's why I like to do reading. That's why I wanted to learn the Quran, because especially after like 9/11, I was a kid. I had no understanding what was going on. So I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe in a few years I'll go through it. Then I finally went through it. Just like the Book of Mormon. I went through it. It's just like, oh, Jesus Christ is an American? I mean, that's just awesome. That's awesome. But that's the thing. I mean, he tries to sell everything in good faith, trying to make his arguments sound great. There are a few things where I'm like, you know what? Okay, maybe, like the whole deodorant thing. It's just like, again, why did Sandman have to point that out? Why was that a big issue? But he was nitpicking the reaction of the video instead of the video itself. He was nitpicking that and making fun of the fact that that person really doesn't know much either. But that's the truth. Most people don't. Most people don't go out of their way to learn. And that's the problem. There should be more information in the world that's accessible to people, and less misinformation in the world that's accessible to people. And people who, like, I think people who are retarded like me, just like the IBZ guy, who are retarded like me, we shouldn't be making like these kinds of videos if we don't know all the information. If we don't know all the information. Like for me, I think it's best for me to do reactionary content, because if I'm being a complete retard, I'm live for you all to laugh. And even when I post this up later, everyone can laugh at the fact that I get something wrong, and I can learn from it. People will comment and be like, this. So we're just like, well, at least I was just, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. And I'm trying not to mislead people. I try to be as genuine and honest as I can be, as I possibly can be. But I can understand why they keep referencing the IBZ, because I kept seeing him pop up in like the Sandman videos, and then Pepziti, I kept seeing him pop up in Pepziti's videos, and then the last one you guys recommended, I check it out, and I'm like, you know what? I never saw the original Indian Fatigue, so I check out too. And it's just the way it starts off is just, dude, you're clearly triggered at the fact that you got called out on your argument. Just like when I was watching it originally, like Sandman's video, I was all for in the beginning, like the argument Sandman was making, but then he started getting triggered and getting enraged that he started making crap up and started throwing things into the mix that I didn't agree with. I mean, heck, it was a 30 to 40 minute video that I turned into like an hour and 30-minute reaction. I mean, heck, I did have more to say. I kept speeding up this video because I only have 2 hours to be live. I'm supposed to be getting off in a second, but I only have 2 hours to be live. I was like, I need to get through this. I need to get through this. I need to stop talking. I need to stop talking. But it's just so freaking sad. So freaking sad that people can't just admit when they're wrong. I think it would have been better if he would have acknowledged the things that Sandman was like, oh, okay. Because it's obvious by Sandman's point of view what his issue was, the fact that they were equating all of India with a poop throwing festival instead of just that village. That was the argument. But the fact that he doubled down being like, oh, it's in all these places. And then, oh, they're burning poop here. It's just like, look at what it is. Look at why it's considered important. Look at the facts to everything. It's just, you don't. You just want to add to the problem. You just want to throw more hatred into the mix. Why? Why? Because a bunch of people will believe you without ever actually doing any digging themselves. And that's the sad part. People need to start doing their own research. I doubt he's ever actually been to India. I doubt he's ever been to India before. And I've been to India 5 times now. I probably won't go again until what is it? Oh, till my wife's visa gets summed up. But again, it's just, this whole thing is just so tragic. So freaking tragic that this is literally the type of discussion we're having. That this is, instead of learning and accepting and realizing, yes, we have flaws. Yes, we can improve on this. Because again, like that's the only vlog I ever did in India was my first time out there for my Roca. I did a video about the India, my visit. I pointed out the trash because it's just like I was looking out the window and it's so beautiful. Yet there was this massive mountain of garbage. And yes, again, but that has to do with like the mindset, that has to do with the mentality, that has to do with like just having people do their part. But a lot of people just believe, oh, you know what? Everyone does it. So what does it matter if I do it? It means nothing. And that's the problem. People need to correct that. But that's the thing. It's okay to call out the problems you see in another nation. Like, there's nothing wrong. Just don't equate the entire nation with the problem. Because it's not the entire nation. Most of the nation knows, like in India, most of Indians know that their nation is polluted beyond reason. But what can they do to fix it? That's what they need. They need steps to fix it instead of being like, just making fun of them for it. Because India was hoisted into a situation where they needed infrastructure in a week. Why? Because Britain needed to back out from all the atrocities they had done to India. And the biggest way to get away with it, especially after the fallout of World War II, was to partition off. Like, the partitioning was a godsend for Britain. Why? Because instead of the world finding out what happened to India and how Britain had mistreated India, India ended up in a turmoil with itself because Pakistan was formed. And they have very rushed infrastructure, very rushed kind of rules and laws and governance that to this day, a lot of that needs to be redone. A lot of the infrastructure needs to be in like the way it goes top down from government, the entire government structure, the political structure, the security structure, everything needs to probably get overhauled, get audited completely. And most people would agree with that. I mean, heck, I'm an American and I believe our government system needs a good auditing because there's too much corruption there. Too much corruption there. But that's the thing. It's like you can call out the things you've seen as a foreigner, just like they can call out the problems they've seen in the U.S. Too much drug use, too many walking fentanyl zombies, too many needles left on the ground in San Francisco. Like, that's the thing. It's like, if you want to see the beauty of the U.S., never go to a major city. Go to the rural towns. Go to like Yosemite National Park. Go to Yellowstone National Park. Go to down just like the fields, the Great Lakes. Just, you know, go to the nice locations. Don't go to any of the major metropolitan cities, because that's where you literally go to end up seeing the worst society the U.S. has to offer. The worst U.S. has to offer. And like, again, the only racism I had ever seen was when I lived in San Francisco. I never knew it was a thing until I lived in San Francisco. So if you want to experience racism, go to a major city. Go to San Francisco. If you want to learn how people are just accepting and maybe they'll joke about you, maybe they'll do stereotypes because they're just trying to be playful, you can go to a rural location. You can go to a rural location. Bureaucracy is the main problem. It needs to be changed. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But that's the thing. Like, most of the things I could see as an issue, most people in India already know is an issue. But the problem is, most of them don't think they can change it, so why would they bother? And that's the mindset that needs to be changed. They need to know that the next generation, you are the ones with the power to dictate the future of your nation. Not the old fogies in office. It's you are the ones with the future of your nation. You are. But that's the problem. It's like this IBZ guy is just completely missing the mark. Completely missing the mark. He was getting offended at the fact that a lot of his crap was being called out. So he's like, you know what? I'm just going to double down on everything and point out even more nonsensical stuff that doesn't even match the argument.
You guys get a video? So bad.
And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Wait like that.